Welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging. I'm Jeff. We're playing Delta Green tonight. Hopefully you can hear us in the chat. Had some audio problems before we started up tonight, but I think everything's fixed. But yeah, we're continuing Delta Green. We're in part 2 of a 4-part campaign published by Arc Dream Publishing. And yeah, we've had an interesting couple of sessions the past 2 weeks as stuff has started to click. It's so funny watching them like cram and do studying like right before we go live. For the last 20 minutes they've just been frantically going through their notes. So that's really good. So before they introduce their characters and we start our game, let's talk about other things we do here on the channel. So Fridays is our Delta Green night. Saturdays is our Worlds Without Number afternoon at 6 p.m. Central. Mondays, this coming Monday, we're starting up a brand new chapter of our Alien campaign. So if you haven't caught any of our Alien game beforehand, now's a perfect time to catch up, or at least to start. You don't even have to worry about the other 2 chapters. Just start with this one because new crew, new operations and missions and stuff like that. So come check that out. And yeah, and soon, I think it's like the first week of August, we're also going to be starting up Ultraviolet Grasslands if you want to check that out as well. And you can find me and Melissa elsewhere as well. I play on Defenders of Kobolds a lot. I'm on Garblack Games a lot. I've realized now that I basically play every night of the week, and I need to get a handle on this. It's getting a little out of control. But that's enough about me. Let's talk about these players. So tell us who your character is, and, you know, a little something about yourselves. So Ashley, who are you?
My name is Ashley. I'm playing Agent Chelsea. What can I tell you about Agent Chelsea? She has read the play numerous times, to the point where it's probably going to kill me. Also, I have a book where I can potentially summon a demon and to speak to them. So, I mean, that's a potential option.
Not just a demon, but like 72 or something. I can't remember the number.
I have to call forth one. But
at a time.
I do have to call them.
At a time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair enough.
So, I mean,
yeah,
that's an option.
Okay. All right.
I also look scared.
This is a different kind of game. I can't, man. Never mind. I don't want to talk about it. All right, let's keep it going. Long, who are you? Who are you playing?
I'm playing Agent Vessel. One of the disorders I got after first part is intermittent explosive disorder. So if I'll drop sanity, I think it's more than 2.
2, yeah.
I'll fall into like a fit of a rage.
Yeah.
It hasn't happened yet.
I cannot wait. It will. Guaranteed. It's going to happen at some point. Maybe tonight. Who knows? I'll be very interested in seeing how you roleplay that fit of rage. We got a couple different people with disorder. I think everyone's got a disorder now, in one way or the other,
I have
which is
a
fun.
fugue
state. I know Derek's got some anxiety disorder stuff, and Fawn's got a couple. She's got 2 at least. Fawn's the one who's in the worst state right now. How you doing on sanity, Vessel? Where are you sitting at?
I'm at a cool 49.
49? Okay, under 50. You're doing okay. 49's not bad. 49's not bad. Okay.
Should I do a prediction tonight?
If you like.
Who's gonna break sanity first?
Sure. Yeah. Who's gonna?
I can only do 2 options though.
Yeah,
so
I know.
Who has the lowest sanity right now?
I think that's Fawn. Fawn does.
Yeah, it's still me. But I was on the poll last week, so.
Yeah. Well, you're in the 30s, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Okay. All right.
Who's the second lowest or closest to breaking?
I'm actually 1 away from breaking.
The one with the demon book is gonna go insane first. Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair point. And also, who has read that play? That apparently you've read, by the way, several times. You just said so. That's on record.
That's what you said. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I just assumed.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't have to agree with me. All right.
That sounds fun.
Let's go bottom row. Derek, who are you playing?
Agent Album, one of the nerds of the group, highly paranoid, likes to do stuff with drones and not get busted by the police, but does get busted by the police.
Yeah, I mean, it was only a small little thing, though. It wasn't like Chelsea was
tactical.
Yeah, it was a very small thing, which is interesting because as of like what we talked about last week, you guys are heading back to the scene of the crime this session where Album got arrested. So this is going to be fun. Okay. And then finally, we have appearing for the last time, we have Agent Fawn.
Hello and goodbye. So yeah, Agent Fawn, she's the resident National Park Service employee. Um, I had fun with Google Docs typing up all of my chapter 1 notes to see what else have we missed along the way. And discovered the note that when the King in Yellow was sold at auction in New York, it went for 616K. So yay,
That's a
there's
lot.
another 616 that came up.
Well, that's 616,000. That's a completely different number than 616.
No, it's not.
Sure it
Same
is.
number.
There's like a bunch of zeros at the end of it.
Yeah,
All right.
part of the pattern.
Okay. So let's dive in to where we're at. We are at the same. So this is like episode 7, I think, of part 2, which means we've now hit the same amount of episodes as part 1. I don't
Time
know.
to blow up a building?
I mean, it's always time to blow up a building, to be honest. But I don't know how much longer we have in part 2. It's kind of up to you all, to some degree. But I think we got a couple still. But we'll see how it goes. But I think part 2 is like I've been saying this most. I think there's if you're prepping Impossible Landscape, I think there's a lot of content in part 2. Not all of it is like 100% necessary or is going to be in the game, but there's a lot of content in part 2. Like just the page count in the PDF in the book is longer than some of the other parts. But I'm not surprised this is kind of going the route it's going. But we're making some progress the past 2 weeks, which is really interesting. So if you're so let's just do the full recap, right? Crew of 4, agents of Delta Green. It's 2015. You've reunited after a 20-year break from each other after you all worked together in 1995 on a very strange operation, Operation Alice, when you were investigating the disappearance of a young artist in New York. You discovered the night floors. This building that she was in, the McAllister building that she lived in, just went on for forever, and you guys blew it up in the hopes of stopping the spread of the unnatural. Things went really bad at the end of that mission, unfortunately. Things weren't entirely clean, and so you guys kind of split up. Your cell didn't stay together, and you went off on your own separate angles. You did some other work for Delta Green here and there. Some of your real lives were impacted, but eventually you were brought back together in Boston in 2015, September, by a man that you know by a couple names at this point. Agent Exeter is your handler's name. You've heard his real name might be Dr. Elias Barbas. You've also seen him sign his name Marbus as well, which you've learned is the name of a demon, which is very peculiar. But he's put you on Operation India Moon, and you have been tasked with looking into the disappearance of 4 psychiatric patients, supposedly Delta Green operatives, from the Dorchester Psychiatric Facility in Boston. And you need to be on the lookout for any kind of occult books that you might find along the way, because that's apparently what they came across, and bad things happened. And if you find any of these occult books, you're supposed to report them immediately. You're not supposed to read them. So then you guys started to do a little bit of investigation into Dr. Dallin, who runs the Dorchester house. You actually visited the Dorchester house. You met some of the staff. You actually followed one of the staff around and discovered that he was carrying the mummified remains of a child in his gym bag. You looked a little bit into Dr. Dallin, or at least into the history of the psychiatric facility, but you're still thinking about how you might want to work on that angle. But there was a message about Abigail Wright, the missing artist from 1995, on the wall of one of those missing psychiatric patients' rooms. But things are just kind of getting all torn up and confused and strange and weird as Chelsea got arrested, was got out of jail somehow in some strange, weird way, and then in a fugue state wandered into the Boxer Hotel, checked into room 618, and then discovered that there was no 616. But as you guys were looking around, you found room 616. You realized that right next to Chelsea, there was some weird, unnatural room. And you explored it last time. As you went around, you poked around. What are some things you remember? What are some big things that you all discovered or remember from your experiences in room 616?
I got another book.
Do you remember what book it was?
Yeah. But
I don't.
also I saw it was a purple book. but I saw a marionette of myself in the bathroom.
That's true. Who lunged at you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or was it a purple book? No, Long got a purple Valis or whatever that
Oh,
word is.
yeah. I know what you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah, it's like a giant case file.
Yeah. And in that giant
I
case
found a
file,
lavender copy of the Libro Sanctorum Manifesto.
which is like another
Demon.
version of like some of the things you've already had before.
Yeah.
So like, so it's not like it's anything brand new. It's just sort of kind of a different version of some of the books, because you guys already have copies of like the Hydromantia. You guys have got copies of the play. It's just now you're finding extra copies of the play in different languages. You're finding extra copies of these demon books in different languages. You're finding a lot of this stuff that's somewhat the same information, just usually showing up in peculiar manner. Any other weird things we remember from the missing room?
Yeah,
That
there's like
weird-
a evidence of a murder, maybe crime scene sort of.
Yeah, it certainly seemed that way. Both you and Album had interesting experiences with that. Vessel, you were able to forensically assess that there probably was a pooled blood stain on the ground, and there was some stuff along the wall as well, suggesting like even though there was no window, there were curtains on the wall, which is really peculiar. It was set up like there should be a window, and then as you lift, as it almost looked like the body was being lifted and pushed out a window, but the window isn't there because you saw residue from the blood along the wall. Anything else we remember?
Yes, I had the hallucination apparently of killing the person that
Yeah.
left the bloodstains behind. I tried to take photos. There was nothing there. Caused me to break. I think that was. Oh yeah, an Album also was looking through a box of evidence that was from '95 that then disappeared, and he could not get access to again.
Yeah, it's true. All these are true things.
There's
Fawn.
a door that just kind of appeared.
I mean, that's what Vessel says, but why believe him? You didn't see it. Only Vessel did. All right. So let's go ahead and get started then, because at the end of last week's episode, you guys had decided on a course of action. And the course of action... Oh, no. Why isn't music working? Oh, no. I'm having some problems with... Is anyone having problems connecting to Forge at the moment?
Yes, I was messaging Ashley. I'm trying to use an incognito tab. I'm getting internal server errors. I can't access anything.
Oh, gosh. Yeah,
when you try
I
and click
too
on
am getting
access
that.
game, it does
Okay.
that.
Well, this is going to be really fun then, because that's where most of my notes are. But I still have others. It's fine. All right. So the now it's a tabletop. Exactly when can we play? The 100% right. Okay. So then your course of action that you guys had decided upon was that you were going to cycle back, and you wanted to go back and look into Agent Exeter some more. Your handler, this weird guy that smelled of gasoline, crinkled when he walked, older guy in his 60s. Do you guys remember why that was like suddenly, like what's the big thing that made you want to do that? Like want to come back and investigate this?
Because when we were perusing the case file, Agent Album found a reproduction of an extremely old black and white photo from 1895 with a note that reads Marbus, and the photo shows two actors in pantomime in broadcloth outfits. The man's clearly Agent Exeter, and the other person is possibly the woman we saw talking to him outside the window of his house.
Cool. Keep talking. I'm resetting the server.
What do we know about 1895 and what else happened in 1895?
I already scrolled past that point in my books, but 1895 kind of like tickled my memory, and I went back to chapter 1. We had found when I was doing research, when Agent Chelsea was doing research somewhere, she found in 1895 there was a bunch of people who died in Paris while a play was occurring. Right, Melissa? That's
Yeah,
what
there
I
was
said.
like 100 or so people that either died or committed suicide after The King in
Yes.
Yellow was performed as a play.
Okay, Foundry should be up and running again, guys, if you want to reload now. Thank you, Chuck. That did actually work. Just restarted the server for it. Okay, so music should be coming in shortly, and we can kind of get going then, which is great because that's where all my notes were. All right, so it is the one thing I wasn't sure about is are you guys doing this? Because if you think about in terms of the timeline, it was early Friday a.m. that you guys were exploring. 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning on Friday morning, like really, really, really early, that you guys were exploring the hotel room of the Boxer Hotel. You collected a bunch of stuff, and then you guys decided that you're going to go back, get some sleep, et cetera, et cetera. You kind of reset for the day. Later in the afternoon, the question is so in the afternoon of Friday, my question is, are you guys going to go and do the surveillance Friday night? Or are you going to wait until Saturday to kind of do the surveillance of Exeter's home? What do you think?
Probably nighttime.
I mean, I still
Yeah.
think there's some things we might need to get, because like a
Well-
different car potentially.
Those are going to be some of my other questions I was going to ask as well.
Yeah.
So
I definitely agree. We can't go back and
right. So let's start with the first question. So, Fawn, you already said you want to do it at night. Are we going Friday night? Or are we waiting until Saturday night to do it?
What are the dates of those nights?
So today, Friday, is September 4th.
The meeting is on Tuesday,
Mhm.
so
Yeah,
we're
you got plenty of
fine.
time for that.
Yeah.
I can't think of a reason why we would need to wait.
I mean, just to get stuff. That's
But if we spend all day of Friday getting stuff, then that Friday night still is open.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I'm down to do Friday night.
Agreed.
Okay. So what else do we need? I know Album was working on snazzying up his drone. I agree we need a different vehicle. What else do we want to have?
I mean, we've already been arrested once. Definitely I have. I don't know if we want to spend the time procuring different identities and maybe changing our looks up, or what.
Don't you already have different identities?
I do for myself.
My alternate identity already has a criminal record, so I guess I could do that.
Okay. So I'm hearing that you want to go Friday night because you don't really see the need of waiting, but there's also preparation that you need to do. And you guys did some shopping around. I know you guys did some shopping. That's one of the things we kind of ended on, So what are the types of things, and it's okay if you don't understand, if you don't know specifically what it is, but if it's more of like just a general concept of what you might want, what are some things that you guys might want to bring with you on this? Like that you would certainly declare right this second, like that you're 100% certain you would want to have on you. I know there is a drone, but I know you already have it. 'Cause
Yeah,
we gave you
Album
credit
already
for it,
got the
Album.
drone.
We were outfitting the drone with, was it heat sensing or night vision or Album? what were
Yeah,
we
so the
doing?
drone has night vision and thermal,
Okay.
and then
Is
extra
there
batteries.
any way we can equip it with some sort of like audio listening, like a
Yeah,
big ass
most-
microphone?
Well, most modern drones, like the native camera, I believe, has sound built into it.
Cool. We should get binoculars. Whatever vehicle we have should be super tinted.
Okay, how are you acquiring the vehicle? Renting it, buying it, stealing it, requisitioning it?
I think we could probably rent something.
Okay.
Or we could go to like buy some cheap old clunker.
Yeah, we could do like a.
But then we would have to get it. We'd have to take it somewhere and get it tinted.
We could try.
Be night. You're not gonna see today.
Huh?
It's gonna be nighttime. I don't know if we need it to.
Just saying.
I would say going to like
I'm
one of those
paranoid.
cheapy used car lot places.
Okay. So we want a used rental van or used van that you're purchasing.
You could just use Craigslist.
Okay. All right. So I've got a drone. I've got a used van that you're going to buy from some cheapy rundown car lot. Okay.
Mhm.
Anything else in particular you're thinking you guys want?
Turns out drones don't have recording equipment. It would just be visuals. But
That makes
since
sense.
Album used to work in space communications at NASA, he would definitely, I think, still have like, think of like, the spy equipment where like it's the headphones with the little radar gun.
Okay.
So Album will bring his burner phone, his laptop, his drone with all the extra stuff, and then like some kind of listening device where he can just point it at a window or at a door.
Okay. So if that's the case, then what I'm going to say is, Album, we established at the beginning of part 2 that you had set up your trailer like a good 45 minutes away. And so that means you're going to make a run back to your trailer and pick up some of that more specialized gear that you probably wouldn't have had on you.
Right.
That's totally fine. Okay. All right.
Let me do like some sort of rental outfits, some sort of like we have a reason to be there. We're doing some maintenance.
Okay. Like
So, like,
coveralls,
blue
work.
jump,
yeah,
yeah,
some cover.
the blue coverall kind of thing.
Okay. All right. So just coveralls of some kind. I'm sure that's easy enough to pick up from a store. Okay. That's fine. It's not going to have any like logo or anything on
Right.
it, but it'll sure. Okay. That's an
Maybe,
easy
like,
enough.
some, like breaking and entering tools.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you credit for those because you had said you
Okay,
set up basically like a green box, like you kind of set up your
Mhm.
own little what was it, a storage facility that you bought. So I'm gonna give you credit for, as long as it's nothing like completely crazy, like if we're talking about things like crowbars and lock picks and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't see any reason to worry too much about that. Okay.
Album, per chat, do you have a laptop that you'd be recording everything onto?
Does
Maybe we
Album
need to
have
get
a
one.
laptop?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Album's even thinking of making a little mini EMP in case he needs to knock out some electronics.
that will be a roll if you wanted to do that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, I'm looking up how to make a mini EMP, and it's like these are illegal in all of the United States. So I'm like, oh, I should probably not be looking at this.
Oh, our Google searches for games.
Okay.
Probably want to get some kind of a melee weapon, maybe
Now you're on
dagger-ish kind of a thing.
A weapon? Okay. So we know that Chelsea had one, but doesn't, right? We know that Vessel, I think we've given you credit for carrying one, considering your background. Album and Fawn, do either of you want to make the case that you've got licensed gun ownership or anything like that?
No, I've only ever carried mace or something light.
Okay. So do you want to grab yourself a weapon?
I want to get myself a knife of some kind, like something I can get at like a sporting goods store.
Okay.
Like nothing that I have to do like any kind of check or anything.
All right, as long as as long as something that simple, that's easy enough. No problem. Okay. Album or Chelsea, did you guys want to arm yourselves for this?
Album's not a fighter. He would more like have one of those ridiculously bright flashlights to discombobulate somebody as he just runs away.
Okay. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I think like a really heavy mag flashlight I could use as a blunt weapon.
Okay. All right. So,
And binoculars for sure.
all right, that's easy enough. Okay, so the only thing that, to me, there's two things that I think I want to do a roll on. One of them is going to be on the EMP, and one of them is going to be on the van. So, Album, you've got special training that we messed around with in your downtime between part 1 and part 2. So if you want to roll, this is a kind of an issue of timing, because there's a lot of shopping to do. You're going back and forth to this place, and you got to see if you have enough materials, and then you got to build it in a quick period of time. So I do think you're under some time pressure to get this ready correctly. So let's do a roll. Let me double check. What did we call your thing again? Just other electronics. So
Yeah, there's electronic security systems, but then there's also microelectronics.
I'll say let's do craft microelectronics plus 20. So basically roll a 60 or under to put yourself together an EMP.
Made the sound, but I don't know if it popped up.
Yeah, I did. There you go. It was a little delayed. Looks to
Okay.
be in now. Oh, that's right. I got to reload on that one too, don't I? Uh,
It was
so
a success, though.
yes, so you're good to go, man. So you're able to put together a rudimentary. It ain't fancy. It's not going to win any awards, but a rudimentary device that will give you a very short radius where it will kind of disable electronics.
Enough
Okay.
for a house.
Enough for like, yeah, enough for, maybe like a 15 to 20 foot radius or something like that. Nothing too big. You've learned your lesson about too much yield on the explosives that you guys build.
Right.
Okay. So the other thing I want to do is I want to figure out whether or not things go okay with your purchase, because you're looking to get specifically a van, something cheap, and then there's the question of whether or not you guys have enough money for it. So since Album's going and getting other stuff, that means one of the three of you is going to have to handle like the purchasing of this van. Who wants to take the lead on this?
I would say Fawn has the cash for it.
Okay.
Album has decent bureaucracy if that's what it would take to negotiate on a van, but I don't know how the timing.
I would
goes
say
right now.
Album wouldn't be able to do it because he's taking a long ride back to his trailer and he's getting some other gear. So it's one of the other three.
Yeah, I mean, Fawn and I have already done the car adventure once. We could probably go together again.
I think all I'd want probably is a persuade. Since this isn't an official requisition, you're just trying to like negotiate with somebody at
Got
a.
63.
All right, go ahead and roll persuade. This is, and then yeah, go ahead and roll persuade. Okay, no problem.
Nice.
Yeah, so you're gonna get. Let's take a look at some vans. You're gonna get a Dodge Caravan.
That's what I was thinking.
Ooh, there we go. 98 Dodge Caravan.
You're getting it's gonna be a Grand Caravan. So it's like a minivan. It's got sliding doors. It's got the hatchback in the back. Can fit probably comfortably. It could fit 6 people without much issue.
Does it have tinted windows?
Tinted windows. You passed your test. So I'll say yeah. It has modestly tinted windows. It's nothing like it's not like special Forces Humvee stuff. It's just kind of basic commercial tinting. So the front 2 windows for the driver and for the passenger side are probably a little less, and then the back seat is probably much darker and shaded. So pretty standard stuff there.
Cool. It's brown or something, I'm assuming, right?
I was just gonna make it like a dark blue.
Oh, okay.
That's what I looked up. I just randomly Googled Dodge Caravans. The first color I saw was a blue, so that's what we're going with. So dark. It's not super dark, but it's bluish, so it's probably not too bad. Okay, so blue Dodge Caravan. All right. Now, is there anything else that you guys can think of that isn't just like a small hand tool that would be in like a kit that Vessel would have, but something specific that you think would be necessary for this, something kind of a little out of the ordinary, or something that's kind of a professional piece of gear that you would want on you?
50 feet of rope?
All right, well that's it. We're done. We quit. Okay. All right.
Maybe like just a quick like hotel or motel nearby that we can just escape to
Okay.
in case things go
So a
wrong.
place. So you have like a place where you can get to. Sure. Fair enough. That's easy enough to do. I don't think you got to do any kind of roll for that. All right. So then a couple things. It's going to be about 7:00 when you're on your way back to meet with everybody. You've spent most of the day going around collecting gear. You head back to check on your trailer. You piece together your EMP, got a couple other electronic items, got your drone in place, double checked it, ran through it to make sure the night vision and the infrared are working fine. And you're about halfway back to Boston when your phone rings. A burner phone that nobody has the number for.
What's the number it's calling, or is it private?
Just says private. Unknown.
Album will press answer but not say anything.
Okay. So as you press and let it sit there, there's like a little crinkling of static for a moment. And then you hear a kind of a somewhat scattered female voice. Doesn't sound like Chelsea, doesn't sound like Fawn, doesn't sound like anybody you know. You just hear, "Hello? I read that you found something. And something golden?"
Yeah. So Album will take out his actual phone, his non-burner phone, and he'll start recording with that.
Okay.
To the conversation, he'll put the burner on speaker, and then he'll say, "Yes, actually, I did find a golden bug. How did you know?"
Have you done anything with it? Have you used it? And you can tell she kind of sounds a little off, like she's not playing with a full deck, you know?
Album will. Album will just deflect by saying, "What does it matter what I've done with it?"
Well, it can reveal so much. You can learn so much from one of those little things. So many things. You could.
What did it show you?
Not enough. Small visions, directions, even inspiration.
Do you know what it's called?
What it's called? It's a gold bug.
Doesn't have a specific name. It's not known by any ecologists.
You should. I've already. Never mind. And you hear a click. She just hands up the phone. Hands the phone.
Yes.
Vessel. You're scouting around. Are you gonna actually get a room, or you just want to know where a hotel is nearby?
Yeah, actually, like book one.
Okay.
Already.
So you head inside to the lobby area, kind of to go book the room, see what they have. We'll call it an Econo Lodge, some cheapy thing. No one's really going to pay attention to it too much. And on your way out, you what's your alertness?
Should be 80.
Okay. You notice someone moving away from your car. And you also notice that there's something behind the back wheel of your car. Like you see that there's a little, like a box or something, and there's this figure that is just sort of moving away from where your car is parked.
Are they like gone, or are they just?
They're just moving away. They're not gone yet, but they soon might be.
I'll go see what they placed.
Okay, so you walk over and you take a look, and it's just a small box. It's cardboard, brown cardboard, nothing special. And it says album on it.
I will take it.
Okay. You take it, you grab it. You hear something moving around inside of it. It's maybe a foot and a half long, a couple inches tall, a couple inches wide. It's not very big, like the size of maybe a shoebox.
I'll check it out in my car.
Okay. So you step inside, get in your car. The figure at this point now has gone out of view. You open it up, and you see inside of it, with like these, what almost looks like straw as like a like packing material. You see a satellite phone, just like the one that Agent Exeter gave you all when you were inside the Gateway Bridges restaurant.
Okay. I'm gonna see if it has like any tone to it. If you turn it on.
So yeah, you turn it on. And it comes on, lights up. It's like this. It's that giant brick, just like the last one. It looks honestly, it looks identical to the one that you saw Album deconstruct inside the hotel room back in Chelsea's hotel room. But yeah, you can see that it's functional. I don't know if you hear a tone, but it's definitely, the lights are on and you can see it kind of light up, the little backlit keys and everything. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's got the pound and star keys.
I'll just leave it in the box and bring it to Album then when we meet up.
Okay, fair enough. So you guys continue to drive and kind of collect everything that you need to collect for your mission. That's what we're calling this. And eventually you meet back up. I assume you all communicate. Where do you leave the car that you've been driving around in, Vessel? In Album. Because Fawn had went to get a van. We'll presume Chelsea maybe went with her. Which means, Vessel, you had a car that you were driving around in. Do you just leave it at the hotel? It's all very important information.
Mm-hmm. I could leave it at the hotel, maybe like take a taxi.
Okay. All right. So take a taxi, or I'm not sure, 2015 Uber? I think Uber is around 2015. I don't know. Yeah. 6 years? Yeah. Okay. And so so everyone's going to meet up somewhere. Where are we meeting up before we head over to Exeter's apartment or home, excuse me?
Maybe like a nearby park.
All right.
I do think before we start, we need to do like a drive through like the little neighborhood again and get like some possible spots like picked out. Maybe creep on the neighbors a little bit.
After we meet up and switch to the new vehicle.
Okay.
Okay. You guys meet up. You get the new vehicle. You load up your gear. By the time you really get going, it's like 10 o'clock at night. Between renting the van, Album building stuff, Vessel getting a new hotel room, all these kinds of stuff. It's 10 o'clock at night by the time you guys are ready, and you get over to the Medford neighborhood of Boston. So you cruise around a bit. You said, Chelsea. Is there anything in particular you're looking for as you're cruising around?
We're just trying to get like a feel of like the neighborhood itself, like not necessarily just the house, but like potentially like are there nosy neighbors? Because we already have some idea that they are nosy because Album and Fawn's excitement of getting the cops called on them.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
like maybe find like a darker part of the street, like across the street that we could safely watch the house from.
Well, I mean, as you drive down his street, much like the first night that both Album and Fawn came around, you guys noticed that all of the homes seem to have like lights on here and there, and there's some electrical street lights, but like it's like a black hole where Agent Exeter's home is. You don't see any lights on. There's no like street light on. There's no mailbox light on, even though the mailbox is on the porch. You don't see a house light or anything. It's just like this dark area. Occasionally you see a flickering of light in the window. Or two here or there as you kind of cruise by. His Ford Escape is parked in the driveway still. But it's 10 o'clock. You don't really see anyone. There's not a whole lot of activity in the neighborhood at this point. It is Friday night, so there's probably a little bit more than when Album and Fawn were here. You still see some cars passing by every now and then, maybe people coming back from a night out. But overall, it seems like a relatively quiet suburban area.
What's his backyard lead up to? Is there like another
There's a house back there, yeah.
Okay.
And I think the reason why we wanted to use the drone was so that we can park a decent way away and not be like visible on the street, but still kind of get nosy in his business. Depending on the range of the drone.
Okay. So you want to park like a block away?
I don't think we should park that far.
Like a couple houses up, maybe. So we're in overalls. We're trying to look like we're meant to be here.
Mm-hmm. Overalls in a unmarked Dodge Caravan at 10 o'clock at night on a Friday. Your guys are meant to
Are
be
we
here.
sending out the drone before we go out ourselves?
That's true. We could do that.
Yeah, I have extra batteries for it, so it can do additional scouting or whatnot.
So you can tell that there are basically 3 houses that border Barbas's or Agent Exeter's house. Okay, there's kind of one on one side, one on the other, and one in the back. Okay, so there's 3 different houses. The one in the back has got its own separate block, but you can kind of walk between them fairly easily. You can tell that his home is 2-story. And a lot of these other homes as well are 2-story, kind of quaint little homes. But there is the house that Album threw a brick through a window, which is this kind of small house right next door. That the yard's a little it's not incredibly well kept, but it's definitely looks a hell of a lot better than Exeter's lawn, which looks terrible. Then there's the other on the opposite side, which is a very clean looking house. You can see that there's like 1 car in the driveway. There are 2 in the others. And this one has like really well manicured yard. It has like what looks like a American flag on a pole, kind of like, it's like you get the sense that it might be like somebody who is either in the military or maybe has a family member in the military that's sort of proudly displaying. It's at 10 o'clock at night, so it's probably pulled down a little bit. And then the one in the back, as you kind of cruise around, it's a very large house actually, and you can see that there is a detached garage from the home that's quite large, and it's kind of got these hedges that are sort of surrounding it and kind of give it some separation between the lot that is this house's and the lot that is Exeter's home. So those are the 3 most immediate neighboring homes. So the question that I want to know is, where are you parking, and what are we doing first?
Parking on the street behind?
So maybe I misunderstood. So is there like the hedges? Is there like one of those like alleyways like between houses?
No.
Okay.
No, they just back up onto each other.
Okay.
So like the back of that house is against the back of Exeter's house.
Yeah, we were going to use a drone
Okay.
to scout out first.
Yeah, but where are you parking to do this? Because somebody's going to be controlling the drone and all that kind of stuff. And
Was Exeter's house, was his house on a cul-de-sac street, or was it a through street?
it's a through street.
The house behind it, can we see any immediate security cameras?
What's your alertness at?
My alertness is at 24.
Okay. Roll an alertness test if you want to kind of keep an eye out for that kind of stuff. It's late. It's dark. Although some of these houses have lights, floodlights, house lights here and there. It's still kind of dark. So, but yeah, go ahead and roll alertness.
Binoculars help at all?
Sure. Take a plus 20.
Okay, no. It
Okay.
doesn't help me.
You don't see any. No, you don't see any. You look
I say
around.
that we
You don't see any cameras.
Okay.
I say that we park. I mean, obviously not park too near the house, but we would want to be facing in a way that if we need to get out quickly, we can just get onto like a major road or a freeway almost immediately.
Okay. I really just need to know, are you parking on his street or are you parking on a block away?
I would prefer not to park in a street because things didn't go well when we did that last time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's
think
fine.
we should do the house behind.
Okay. So you park on the street of the house behind. You don't see anything surround any kind of cameras or anything like that. There's, as far as you can tell, Chelsea, there's no lights on inside this house that's behind Agent Exeter's home. You don't see what looks like it doesn't look like there's anyone awake there's a car in the parking lot, so you think somebody's there. You just don't necessarily see any activity. Again, it's past 10 o'clock at night. Who knows? Yes, the fleeing radius is correct. Okay, so you're parked. So, Album, you get the drone ready, and you let it go. And it starts flying around. And walk me through what you're hoping to get with this drone, or how you're flying it around, or that kind of thing.
So Album would just first see how many windows are on the property, which ones can be looked through, and then just peek in with either the night vision or the thermal cameras to see if there are any people inside of Exeter's home.
Okay. So, I had a recent experience coming home late at night, and my neighbor across the street was using a drone. Those things have lights on them that kind of blink and show like their power supply stuff, so they're not just like cloaked and invisible. So I'm going to need you to roll a stealth test for this thing. Okay. So, you start moving it around, and you notice that it's a 2-story house, that there are what look like something in around the neighborhood of like 4 windows on, we'll call it the eastern side, between the top floor and the first floor. One of those windows is a fairly large bay window. Most of them have curtains drawn, so it's hard to see inside. A few times there's like a little crease in between them. You do see that there is activity inside. The screenings you get on kind of your thermal, there is someone moving around on the inside. That kind of matches up as when the drone's kind of hovering there, looking in through one of the windows. Someone moves past it, and you can see they have a light kind of sticking out their head. On the front side of the house, looks like 2 windows that flank a door on the first floor, and there's no windows on the second floor, because the second floor looks like the second floor area doesn't extend outward onto like the overhang of the front of the house. And then on the western side, looks like there's about another 4 windows. None of them are bay. There's 3 relatively small windows on the first floor, and it looks like there's like 1 long window on the second floor. And then on the back side, which is what backs up to the detached garage in the house of the neighbors that you're parked near, that looks like there's a back stoop, which is the way that you saw Exeter go into his house and exit with the machine parts. And there's also 2 windows as well. So as you're moving it around, you roll your stealth. Go ahead and roll alertness. Okay. So you notice as you as it's moving around, you at one point you see what you think might be a second thermal signature pop up, but then it kind of quickly just sort of dissipates. It just kind of just goes, it just shows up as if it's there and then dissipates entirely. When you are able to continually track the one, it's kind of moving what looks like around like one of the second story rooms. You would imagine it's probably a bedroom. The curtains are drawn, but you can see like kind of the red thermal, like the red orange thermal moving about. Then they pick something up, are now bringing it what looks like to one corner of the room, and then you see like they're in this process of just sort of like unpacking something. As you continue to watch for a little bit, for a couple more minutes or so, you see them kind of get up and kind of come back towards the center of the room, and they're just doing something on the second floor that you can't quite distinguish. Like they're just like kind of moving from one part of the room to the next.
And as Album's watching all of this, he's just going to be kind of like announcing, I guess, or monologuing. Like, looks like someone's just moving stuff around. There could be a second person, but I'm not entirely sure because I only saw it for maybe a second.
Are you picking up anything on audio?
Drones don't have audio.
Yeah, he doesn't have audio.
If somebody wants to use the little I'm just gonna call it the audio gun. that Album has for like he brought that with him as well, but I don't think he could fly the drone and do that at the same time. It's just basically a pair of headphones that go to like a little dish that can
Oh yeah.
listen in.
You'd have to. Whoever does that has to get a lot closer for that.
So, Vessel, I would give you credit for this. Like you take a look because your alertness is so darn high.
Okay.
I mean that the garage, that detached garage, it looks, compared to the house that it's on the same lot with, it just doesn't look to be as well tended. Like it's not really used very frequently. I would say you would probably know that that's a fairly decent like surveillance spot, and it might be a place where you're close enough to use the this kind of listening device, but it also gives you some cover from whatever's in Exeter's home. So that'd be the probably the best place for you to crouch and hide around.
I noticed a good spot here. I could use that listening tool, so I will try it.
Sounds good. Be careful.
Okay. I need you to roll a stealth test then, please, Vessel.
While they're doing this, Chelsea's watching with her
Oh.
binoculars.
All right.
Oh no.
We have
freaking
one
close.
reroll as Captain Kerrang gave us 100 bits earlier. It's one per scene, so this is like the only time you would get to use it. Vessel would get to use it, I should say. Do
Yeah.
you want to use it?
It's an 80. That's
Yeah,
a
I'm gonna
good
rip it.
Yeah, go ahead and rip
Let's get a 90 real quick.
it. That's how these
It
things
is.
work. Okay,
My
42.
42. So.
All right. So you very carefully, you wait. You see a car pass at one point, and you're like, you know not to open the door. Everyone kind of crouches down for a second, and then it goes past. You see a light 2 houses down just flick off, and then you get out and you start running across the street, going from like a hedge to behind like a mailbox to behind what looks like a garbage can. And finally, you're like up next to the garage. Do you want to go into the garage? Try and see if you can get inside the garage.
Oh, it's not open.
Roll a luck test.
No good.
Yeah, it looks like it's got a. Looks like the handle's locked, but you can look at this. This is like you could very easily just like smash this and break it and open it up. It's not a very strong lock. It's not a padlock or anything like that. It's like a cheap, kind of a cheap thin door to the garage.
Wait, whose garage is this?
This is the neighbor behind Exeter's home.
Hmm. Yeah, why the heck not? Yeah, I'll bust in.
Okay. So you can go ahead and just you can do like a strength times 5, or if you've got strength times 5, I think is
All right.
fine. Okay.
That's fair.
So whoosh, you smash, and you realize that like even though you knock the handle off, the door still seems to be jammed shut. And Fawn and Chelsea, you're just watching as he's now there way longer than he should be. And after like a good like solid minute of him just hammering away at this garage, he finally opens the door and goes inside. You're inside this garage, and looks like there's a bunch of landscaping equipment, like that's been unused. You get the smell of like kind of faded gasoline and like lawn clippings and stuff. None of it looks like no one's been in here in probably like months. You're not really sure, but there's like a row of windows like that's kind of midway up the walls on each side, and you sneak over to the backside of the garage. There's like a hand crank for the window. You open it up and you point the microphone at the house. Chelsea and Fawn, what are you two doing in this?
I'm watching the windows in the stoop at the back of the house with my binoculars.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and roll alertness then.
Fail.
Since you're using your binoculars, I was giving you credit, but one of the things, it's dark out, so like it's plus. So I'll say like plus 20,
10.
plus 20, and then minus 10. So we'll say like plus 10.
So 34. So that's a pass.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just doing a couple rolls really quick. It's not important to worry about it. Oh God.
I'm not scared at all.
Okay. So You notice as you're looking at the windows at the back of the house, you see a figure through the binoculars. Let me turn the music down just a little bit. You see a figure start moving. It looks like across one of the rooms. You don't really see like the figure as much as you can see like a lighted portion, like where like maybe they're carrying a lantern or they're carrying like a flashlight or something. And like you can kind of see the vague contours of it through the curtain itself. But as they move across the top floor, they eventually become a little bit clearer as like one of the other rooms seems to have like open curtains. And you can see Agent Exeter. And they seem to be carrying a box. And with your binoculars, there's not a great deal of light, but you see like there's a bunch of books in the box. Fawn, what are you doing?
I want to keep an eye on the street for looky-loos.
Okay.
So neighbors that seem to be interested in
Okay.
what we're doing, cars driving by.
Roll an alertness test.
Oh, I'm so great at this. Yep.
Okay.
A
Yeah.
little better every
Seems quiet. Everything seems quiet.
When I notice that he seems to be carrying a box of books, Chelsea's gonna mention to Fawn, because one of the notes that we found in like the dossier thing was that are they making books in the house?
Mm.
And I presume that it might be copies of A King in Yellow.
Yeah, that's a good. Means we're gonna have to go in there and get them, probably.
Yeah, I made a handout for that to keep track of all those different handwriting things. So it's the room 616 notes from a Leather Valis.
Oh, cool.
In the part 2 evidence handout stuff. So if you guys ever want to, so I don't have to constantly read it to you.
Upon Agent Fawn mentioning that we might have to go in the house, Album, while piloting the drone, is just going to say, yeah, why? I'm confused. Why don't we just show Exeter the photo of him and just say, like, what is this about? What is he going to do? Not tell us?
Well, if we think he might be
Marbus the demon.
the demon, what might he do? Could be burning us, killing us, any sort of bad thing.
Oh, because that's much worse than thinking you've murdered somebody or being killed by your doppelganger in the bathroom or any of the other drowned in a bathtub. What else has happened to us in the past few days? I'm sorry.
I mean, we're still alive, so there's that.
That's what I mean. If we can just keep tempting fate. We're alive for a reason, so he can't do anything to us.
That's one way to look at this situation, I suppose. Let's see what kind of recon we get from Vessel. And yes, we may go knock on the door and say, hi, here's some live people. Please take our lives, and maybe answer us some questions first.
Okay. So, yeah, I totally agree, Foreigner. So Chelsea and Album, you both are kind of viewing the same thing, but slightly differently. Album, you're a little bit closer to the drones kind of moving about. It looks like he goes into one of the rooms that's kind of hard to see on the second floor, and then through the infrared kind of drops the box. Like since you guys are right next to each other, sort of like that's a box that he's carrying, and he drops it on the ground, and you see the infrared movement again as he's continuing to move. Again, you get a sudden quick appearance of like an infrared signal on a different area, and so you see like a different second floor window, you can tell like there's at least 2, maybe 3 rooms on the second floor, and on the other room suddenly it appears. Chelsea, as you're kind of scanning it over, you can see there's a woman in the second floor, dressed in white. It's kind of dark. There's no lights. She has no lights, no lantern, anything like that. So it's really just kind of moonlight, starlight, and it's reflecting off like what looks like a white gown of some kind. You can't really distinguish anything about her without any additional light, but it seems like she's talking to someone outside. Vessel, you kind of set up. This is all kind of happening relatively the same amount of time, and you're kind of pointing. You don't really hear anything. You just hear a bunch of smash, like mumbling here and there. Your alertness is so high, though, you also hear occasionally, you hear like what sounds like a grinding of machinery. Like there's a machine like almost like a printer started working all of a sudden, but it sounds a little rougher than that. Fawn, you're supposed to be watching the street, and you are. You see the street. You're looking at it. There's no one on the street, and it's at that point, as you're watching the street, you look a little bit out of the side of your eye, and you see an old woman opening the door to her garage with a flashlight. Vessel, you hear behind you, "Who the hell are you?" As there is a woman, an old lady in her 60s, holding up a flashlight, and she is flashing it right in your face. And then she looks like she's about to scream bloody murder. What do? The two of you see this.
Knock her the fuck out.
That's true. She is 60. It probably wouldn't take too much.
It's a giant backlight. What are you guys doing? Let me know.
Who sees this? Just Vessel and Fawn?
Yeah. You've got
I'll
binoculars up,
immediately,
and
snap my fingers.
I still want
show
the
you.
two of you.
It's already happened.
It's still the two of you who have to do something.
And
Vessel, what are you doing? Okay, so what are you gonna do?
I gotta run up to her and just put my hand in her mouth.
Okay, you run up to her and you put your hand on her mouth. Okay, so, why don't you roll?
Lady out.
Yeah, why don't you roll an unarmed combat? Contested.
Choke her out.
Oh god.
Her frame looks flimsy. She
Alright,
can't
15.
contest that.
Yeah, you're fine. With the 92. As you run up and you immediately, she's like, okay, Fawn, you see Vessel emerge from deeper within the garage, and he grabs the mouth of this woman. Her flashlight falls to the ground. I'm going to give you, I'll assume that you kind of drag her further into the garage. Fawn, what are you doing?
I'm going to give him another beat to see and make sure he's okay. I'm just going to snap my fingers, make sure that Chelsea sees what's going on. And I'm going to give it another beat to see if he gets it under control before bringing further attention to more.
You
people
see a
moving.
flashlight just kind of rolling, like doing that classic, like roll a little bit of a way, then roll the other way, and the light's kind of flashing out in the direction. So there's light that's just subtly moving about on her driveway.
Like
you don't-
outside of the garage.
Yeah, on the
go,
driveway.
yeah.
On the
You should
driveway.
go
okay.
get that.
You got to
Okay.
do something.
Okay. then
There's
I
light
will go.
moving about. Yeah. Okay.
I thought that was inside the garage. Okay.
So you hop out of the van, and you make a run for the driveway and for that flashlight that is now rolling around in the driveway. Roll a stealth test as you try to do this yourself without being seen. Oh
Nope.
my. You start running, you get out of the car really fast, almost negligently, as you slide open the van, you step out, and you hear honk as you step right in front of a car that was coming from your blind side. Roll a luck test. Actually, no. Critical fail. It hits you. You step out. You run into the middle of the street. It hits you, and you just go flying. This guy gets out, and you could tell he's a little bit tipsy. What the hell are you doing? Just jumping on the street like that? What's wrong with you? And he's like super loud, obnoxious. You could tell he's put a couple on. He shouldn't be driving, that's for sure. What the hell? You're going to get someone killed. You're going to get yourself killed, and you're going to get me killed. What's wrong with you? As he's just screaming at you now in the middle of the street.
Or maybe your drunk ass shouldn't have been driving right now. But you know what I'm not going to do?
My drunk
I'm not
ass?
gonna call the
What did
cops
you just call? And
on
he's
you.
continuing to scream.
I'm going to punch him in the
What'd you
face.
call? Okay. Get up. This is the combat we get. You get up.
Oh, Vessel, why did you have to break the garage door open?
You
could've
get
just
up
Stuck her out the door.
and you punch him in the face. Go ahead and roll unarmed combat. As you go, he's like, what did you just call me? What did you just call me? And you go and you swing, and like, it kind of makes contact, but he's got like drunken armor, and he's just like, oh, you did not do that. And he will turn around. I'm going to give him, we'll say 30% chance, and he'll take a swing as he tries to just sort of push you away. Oh, gosh.
Oh, I've got reroll options.
Okay, yeah, we got. Okay, you get to use one though. The other two, so Vessel's used one, and Fawn, you can use one, and then there's two more. There's one ready for Chelsea and Album at some point. Do you want to reroll it?
I'm 57. I'm trying to fight this. Like,
This guy's in his
Yes.
40s. You swing at him. You miss. Your hand goes through the window of the driver's side door.
shit.
And you're going to take 2 points of damage as you pull your hand back. It's bleeding. And he's like, "You just broke my fucking window. What's wrong with you?" And he goes to push you. And he sort of like drunkenly stumbles into you at this point. Okay, Chelsea, Album, you guys are right there. What are you guys doing? This guy is loud. Very loud. A car horn just went off. A guy just got knocked on the ground. What do you guys want to do?
Are there sunglasses in the van?
Yeah.
Album's gonna put on the sunglasses, and he's gonna have like one hand looking like it's reaching for a weapon, and he's gonna get out of the vehicle and just look straight at the guy and say, "If you don't get out of here right now, what I take out of my jacket pocket is not gonna be fun for you."
Okay. Roll. Roll persuasion. I'll give you plus 20 because I like the jacket pocket thing.
Okay.
I'll give you plus 20. Roll persuasion with plus 20 as you're.
Oh,
Yay!
And it turns. It's like, hey. Okay, no, she gonna pay for that window though. You're gonna pay for
Nope.
that window.
Nope, you hit me. I'm not calling the cops. You're not going to pay for my medical charges. You can drive your drunk ass home.
Thinks about it for a second. His hands are up suddenly. Album's hand is like inside of his coverall, kind of reaching. It's like, "I don't know what the fuck you all are doing." I said, "I don't fucking want anything to do with this." And he gets back in the car. And he's like, oh, as he sits on the glass from the broken window. This is bullshit, man. And then he starts to drive away.
Before he drives away, I make note of his car model and license plate.
What's your alertness?
24.
but she has binoculars.
I don't think it's gonna help necessarily with. Actually, yeah, I guess it would. I'll say roll alertness with plus 20. You got the. I'll say you got the make and model, but you only got a partial plate.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Album's gonna. Is Fawn on the ground again, or was she just hunched over with her hand?
She's just
bleeding?
her hands bleeding. She's leaning over. Also, all of your guys have high enough alertness. Vessel, you're fine. You've got an old lady. We'll get to you in a second. You start to see a couple lights come on the street. What do you guys do with the van?
So yeah, Album's gonna look at Fawn and say, "Start the van. We gotta relocate. I'm gonna get Vessel. We'll meet you. We're just gonna walk across the street to Marvis's side of the neighborhood. Just get out of here."
Yeah, I think we should relocate the car. Our spot has been compromised.
Okay. So, Album, are you going to get Vessel? Is that what you
Album's gonna go over and try and get the flashlight to draw away attention from there, but then also
Okay.
see how Vessel's doing.
What are you doing with the drone then?
The drone's just kind of is hovering for now. So Album, because Album would have had to put the controls down. So it's just chilling in the middle of the air, and
Okay.
Album will just say to Chelsea before they drive away, like, either get it back in the van with you or just fly it somewhere and land it on the ground and turn it off so no one sees it.
Okay. I'm definitely giving Album credit, as in he knows how to fly a drone. I'm not going to extend the same thing to Chelsea. It's going to be a roll if Chelsea decides to try to pilot this thing.
What kind of role? Computer science?
No, that's more for like
Navigate?
using database stuff. I'll say like
Can it not be navigate?
I'll say
Right.
oh
I don't know.
jeez. I mean,
Well, I
yeah,
think-
drive. I'll take drive.
What I personally think we should do is you should pick up the flashlight off the ground. You've got the controls with you, or you can walk to pick up the controls, and then you and Fawn are outside the car, so you guys should make it look like you're just out on a night walk with the flashlight and walk to the other side of the street, and I will move the car.
Okay. I
Okay.
can do that too.
All right, so you still have your drone controls on you? You're
Yeah.
just casually. Meanwhile, Fawn is with the pain, and you're like, we're just casually on the street. We just heard a drunken man screaming and a car horn, and there's a woman now. So, okay. I want Fawn and Album to make stealth tests as this is just sort of like acting cash. You know, it's not so much about not being seen. It's just about like moving in a way that doesn't
no.
draw attention.
No,
Yeah, those are bad rolls.
we're obvious.
Okay.
Album's just
You
gonna
guys
mutter
walk down
to
the street.
Fawn. Album's gonna mutter to Fawn like, anybody stops us and we can't keep our cool, we're just gonna say you got hit by a car. We don't know where they went. It's a hit and run. We're
Hit and
just
run.
gonna have to play this angle.
Drunk driver.
Okay.
Hit and run.
You guys start walking down the street. Vessel, you have an old woman in your arms. What would you like to do with her?
I'm gonna have to leave her and close the garage shop and leave.
Just put her in a nice sleep hold.
You knock her the fuck out.
Red, she unconscious, right?
What's
Or
that?
is she struggling or is she unconscious?
She's struggling. What would you
Yeah,
like
you
to
just
do?
covered her
Oh,
mouth.
You covered her mouth. That's all you said. Yeah.
Snap her neck. Snap her neck.
No,
Do you want to kill her?
no.
Do you want to kill her? Want to take her out? The fate of the universe, man.
Yeah, what's one life for the universe?
I'm just gonna hold her until she goes to sleep.
Oh, that sounds so sweet.
That's one way to describe it.
All right, so you're just trying to like you're basically trying to like sleeper holder. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah.
Roll it on armed combat again. As long as you succeed on the second one, she'll go out.
Of course, I know.
Well, all right. I still have to roll. Yeah, she's gonna get free of you somehow, and she's at the very least she's gonna get her mouth free, and she's just gonna scream, "Help! Help! Help!" Now what do? This is going so.
Son of a
I told you to just snap her neck. You had to lay down with her and tell her bedtime stories.
She's going to. Yeah, she's partially free. What do you want to do? What do you want to do, man?
All right, I'm not the threatener then. I'm gonna get up and leave, and you never saw me with.
That's no.
She's gonna keep screaming.
Yeah.
She's screaming at the top of her lungs.
I'm just gonna run. Fuck it. I'm gonna
Okay.
ditch the place.
All right.
Fuck, we just need to leave. This is it. We can't stake the house out tonight.
Oh God, you guys, you run away. It's fine. Do you have headphones on for the listening device? Did you leave the listening device?
No, I have it.
Okay. I'm just gonna roll something really quick. Okay. As you're leaving, I have a little like random thing about stuff you might hear. You hear something, but you don't catch it all because as you start to run out, like you like the gun starts going in different directions, and you can no longer kind of hear everything that was going on inside. But you hear what sounds like some kind of like ritualistic recitation of something. You couldn't quite make it out. You're probably not the best person for this. But you hear what sounds like Exeter's voice saying, by the name of Priumatan who commandeth the whole host of heaven. And then that's when you stop hearing anything. And then you run, and she's behind you screaming, "Help! Help! I've been attacked! Help!" And your alertness is so high, Vessel, you're seeing lights just boom, 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 come up all over the place in the street. What'd you guys like to do?
Is Chelsea gone already?
Chelsea drove the car away.
I'm just gonna run down the block. I'm out of there.
Okay. All right. Fawn and Album, you see a handful of doors open, and you see people kind of stepping out onto their porches, front stoops. They got cell phones against their ears. Looks like they're calling. something. They're like, yeah, I've heard some sort of strange stuff going on down the street. This woman's calling for help, saying she's being attacked. Yeah, and then he gives the address. And thanks, officer. My name, and then just kind of gives his name. You get the sense that people are starting to call the cops. This is so wonderful.
Could I use a criminology roll to try and guess the average Boston PD response time?
Yeah, that sounds okay. Yeah. Or I think law might make more sense, but I'll take criminology too.
Let's say I can't roll law.
Criminology, I think, would work too.
Okay.
Because I think criminals would probably study.
Well, and as we're walking away, we can also be like, so how long do we think it took us last time when we were across the street? And like,
hard to tell.
Took, what, like 15 minutes?
Hard to tell because you don't know when they caught you doing stuff.
But if we heard somebody call, Album could
Sure.
just say like, okay, average response time is this. We've got this many minutes to get the hell out of here.
5 to 10 minutes, maybe.
Okay. What time is it right now?
10:30.
Okay, so Album's just gonna look at Fawn and say, we have at most 10 minutes to get out of here. Probably closer to 7 minutes. We just need to bolt.
And I feel like we're like walking awkwardly, arm in arm, just trying to do the walking thing. And Fawn is just like cussing up a storm about like, how did this go so wrong so fast? And why did he not take care of her? Like, why? Like, Vessel isn't in earshot, but Fawn is complaining royally to Album.
He hasn't watched enough Ocean's 11. I don't know.
Okay, so you guys had a plan, and you did just start moving. So I'm gonna say you guys are a couple blocks away. Vessel, you started to run. You just started to run.
Yes,
roll a luck test.
a success.
Okay. All right. Good to know.
Fawn is going to lean over to Album and just say, so I didn't like your idea too much before about just like walking up to his door, but this clearly didn't work very well. Do we think that might be the better way to go?
Well, tonight, I think tonight we need to get out of here. But yeah, I think tomorrow we should just walk up, get ourselves inside somehow, and then just point to the photo and say, "You're really old."
Please explain. Is there a question in there?
So
why?
Okay. So
Also,
yeah.
would so
Jesus Christ.
with the how far away are we from the house that this old lady's screaming at? Like, are we 3 or 4 houses down?
I figure you guys are a couple blocks away at this point.
Okay, then Album, is there if there's like some bushes or something that he can duck behind, he would definitely want to remove his painting coveralls or whatever he's wearing,
Okay.
so he doesn't look odd.
Sure. Okay. So, Chelsea, you just drive around. I assume you guys.
I drove to the other side of the street
Okay.
and like found a spot that isn't super weird to just park at across the street to just continue watching the house with my binoculars.
Okay.
Cause I don't know this shit happened. I mean, I knew that, the whole car thing, but I didn't know
Okay.
Vessel stuff went up to shit.
All right. Okay. So if you're just watching, yeah, I'll say that it's a fairly boring affair. You do see smoke coming out one of the windows on the second floor at one point. It's probably the only thing that really catches your attention, and that's when you hear the sirens. They don't seem to be on your street, but you hear sirens. Like nearby.
Also, can Album land the drone next to the van Chelsea's driving, just like right next to the driver door, so she can understand to put it inside?
Sure. I'll figure once you're in your bushes a couple blocks away, you can take a look and land it. Okay. All right.
I think that would be my cue to leave.
All right. So then, I mean, I assume you guys have cell phones or something. So you communicate with one another, and I'll say that you're able to get yourselves out of this neighborhood since you all just decided to get just the bolt. And you meet up either Chelsea picks you up or you guys walk there at the hotel room that Vessel had gotten for you guys. So by the time everyone gets there, we'll put it like 11:15. So you guys are all there. Some of you are in your coveralls still. Some of you aren't. Caravans in the yard or in the parking lot. Some of you are sweating. Take it away. What happens now?
Yeah, Alb's just gonna like throw the drone controller down. Are we inside the hotel room right now?
Yeah, we'll say you're inside
He's
the
gonna-
hotel room.
Cool. So yeah, he'll throw the controller thing down. He's like, I need some goddamn junior bacon cheeseburger deluxes now. I'm annoyed.
And Chelsea's just kind of confused, and she's just like, how did that all just go so badly?
And Fawn is just gonna basically just start cussing at Vessel. Like, it's one woman. All you had to do was knock her unconscious. It's one person. It's a freaking demon that we're trying to get to the bottom of what is going on. What the hell?
Yeah, that was my fault, but she caught me off guard. I was so intent on listening. Didn't see her coming.
Album being hangry because he doesn't have any food to stress eat will say, yeah, that makes sense. You got snuck up on. Who was watching the road?
Yeah. Drunken drivers, danger to society.
That was after the screen, right?
Yeah, because that's why I was getting.
Yeah,
out
that's why she got out.
was to
Yeah.
go get the flashlight.
Yep.
So
Yep.
Okay. Well, guys, I think we just got to go up to this Exeter or Marbus or whatever he calls himself, because clearly we cannot scout things. We know that there's at least 2 people in that building. Vessel, did you get anything before the old woman slithered into your bones?
Yeah, I did hear a phrase. He started chanting. I'll say what I heard.
And Chelsea, you would recognize it. No, Chelsea would recognize it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would.
As sort of like a demon summoning phrase for an invocation ritual.
And I will explain that. So we probably need to go back today because he's summoning demons.
Just let the cops deal with that. If he's summoning demons and there's a bunch of cops swarming that neighborhood, I'm sure they'll see something, won't they?
Nah, we don't rely on cops to
We're Delta Green.
do any of this shit for us.
I think what I mean is that maybe they interrupted the ritual for tonight.
Oh,
If there's a bunch of commotion going on, I don't know if he would continue to chant. But you're the expert at this, Chelsea. What do you think?
I mean, all it's doing is he's summoning them to speak to. So, I mean,
For power, for information, what do you get from speaking to a demon?
I've never summoned one, so I couldn't tell you exactly, but I can tell you that it's not great, probably.
You would probably you would know enough to know that it's like, and I would say so would Fawn, really. Like you both have very high occult. It depends on the demon. You have you have a book that has a bunch of demons in it, names, seals.
72 demons.
A question of what they do. You have basic definitions, like explanations according to, and then and honestly, you guys would be able to just go online to there's
Mm-hmm.
you can find this stuff online. This isn't like.
so Chelsea, what does that one do?
The summoning?
No, the P whatever one that Vessel just said.
He didn't get a name.
Primatus?
Yeah, he didn't give a name. It's just sort of part of the starting ritual. Chelsea, you would know that there's another part of the ritual. They actually name the specific demon that they're trying to summon, and Vessel was not able to hear that part because he ran away from an old lady.
Yeah.
Get this good satellite phone with your name on it album.
Wait, what?
Another satellite phone got earlier today. Don't know who they were, but here you are.
Wait, but you didn't tell us that before we went out on this?
We were focused on the mission.
Did you?
Can Album inspect the satellite phone to see, like, just like the outside, if there's any markings or anything on it?
It looks almost identical as far as you can tell to the other one. 1 second, just moving some stuff around. But yeah, like it looks just like one of those big blocky satellite phones that you've seen that you were kind of looking at before, and as far as you can tell, it looks the same. You can see that there's like it's probably from the 90s. Looks like there's like a big ass battery that's connected to it. There is a small brand logo of what looks like a Pegasus that you know to be like Sear ink. And it's, it's fairly heavy.
Is that the same company as the last one? Or is that the same company as the lamp?
Same company.
Album, what happens if you call 616?
Well, that was going to be my question. Do we want me to try to call someone with this, or do I want to just take it apart again and see if there's more dirt in it?
What did they even ask you about first on the phone? Like what?
Who? I haven't used the phone yet.
Didn't Vessel say he got a call?
No, I didn't get a call.
Oh, okay.
So, where were you when you got the... Wait, how did you get the phone?
Someone dropped it off right outside this parking lot.
That's weird.
That's bad.
Did you even see who dropped it off?
Got a small glimpse, but they ran off.
Before Album dismantles it, he will try dialing 616, and he'll just kind of shrug and say, well, if it takes my soul, it's been fun working with you all, I guess.
You wanted to knock on his
What
front
a
door,
shrug.
and you're worried
That's
about
true.
making a phone call.
At this point, Album's just like
He
his
gives
days,
zero
so-
fucks.
Yeah.
Okay, so you do call it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So you do your star 616. Rings twice. And then you hear it pick up. It's got the same voice that you heard before. This sort of distracted sounding, somewhat interrupted by static. It says, hello.
Was there any particular reason this phone was given to me?
Yeah, it had your name on the box.
Or this is Album talking into the phone?
Oh.
There's no response. You can hear a little crackling of static. It's a
Why the
bad,
numbers-
bad connection.
Yeah, so then I'm just thinking the person's not answering. Why 616?
Again, nothing. You can kind of vaguely hear breathing almost. No answer again. Agent
before-
Exeter is your target. Click. And that's it.
Album's just gonna look down at the phone, and he's gonna say, "Well, all they told me was that Agent Exeter is our target.
I think we knew
But-
that already.
Yeah, but we also don't know who's on the others. Why would we trust the phone demon?
Is that in your list of 72 demons? Phone. Let's look under
What
P
if
really
this-
quick.
What if this is our actual original phone that we were supposed to have been given?
It's possible. I mean, I could take this apart and see if it's got actual phone parts in it, and if it does, reconstruct it.
Makes sense.
Might as well.
Yeah, let's do that. Album's like, I need something to work with since I don't have my damn burger.
Okay.
Would this be microelectronics again?
So you're trying to, what are you trying to do right now? You're trying to break it down?
Just
He wants to
not
see
break
if
it
there's
down, just
shit in
pop it
again.
open. Yeah, just pop it open without like breaking anything, basically, to see if dirt falls out. You know, like break or peel.
Oh,
the
okay.
seam.
Yeah. So you start to carefully open it up, and right as you like get the first like hook of plastic unhooked, it just sort of bulges a bit as the careful, like the tightly packed dirt that's inside of it just bursts out like onto the table. Exact same thing as the first one.
Son of a bitch.
So is there another vial?
Yeah,
with a
you go
leaf and a
through it.
bug?
It has the exact same stuff inside. There's a vial, leaf, little bug. As you look carefully.
Album hold the bug up and say, while I was driving back from getting my drone and some other stuff, I got a call on my burner phone that I've never used or given the number out, and some lady, I think it was a lady, was asking about this golden bug and saying she learned all kinds of things from it. And he just remembered, he'll play the recording of the conversation that he was able to get with his personal phone.
Okay. You play the recording, and you guys just hear Album talking to himself.
Oh.
Album, go ahead and roll sand.
Yeah. Fail.
Roll a d4. Take one point of sanity damage from the unnatural. As you're confident you had a conversation, now it's apparently you didn't.
What exactly did she say? I don't hear anything.
Album just kind of sighs and throws the dirt down and just rubs his eyes, and he's like, they were just telling me about this golden bug and they wanted to know what I did with it, and I asked them what does it matter or something like that, and they said that they had learned so much from it. And then they said they either shouldn't be talking or they made a mistake. They hung up very abruptly.
So do we eat it? Like, how do you
That-
learn?
That was my first guess, but I'm not about to eat a bug.
Using it? Maybe calling it because it was part of the phone was using it.
I don't know if this bug's got a number written on it.
Manuel was in the phone. That could have been a use. We just got info. Maybe that's the kind of info they're talking about.
Album upon hearing what once it was in the phone is like gonna try and scoop the dirt and all the crap back into the phone and put it back together and see if he can if it'll work.
Yeah. So you cake it back together, snap the plastic pieces over the casing, and then you go to press star 616 and it doesn't seem to work anymore. You don't see the backlit lights of the keypad. It just seems to be dead.
Have we tried using like a magnifying glass or something on the bug to look at it more closely?
The closest we had done was I had taken like a picture with my phone with it on
Oh,
full
and
zoom.
zoomed in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
It's a
same
bug.
difference.
It's the yellow bug, gold bug. A little
What's
bug.
interesting is that I got people selling me what the plant was. That was just
Hellebore.
I think. Yeah. But no one, except for this mysterious voice that apparently I did not record, no one has gotten back to me about the bug. So it's probably not of this reality. It sounds like a bored 30-year-old man that's telling us to kill Exeter.
Eat the bug.
You're the ghost lady. You eat the bug.
I feel like the bug is just like on the table and we're all just sort of staring at it like, who's gonna eat it?
Like it's a 7th grade dare. Who's gonna eat the bug?
Right.
You guys tell me what you're doing. So it's it's about midnight at this point as you guys are staring at a bug.
Like, are you guys serious? Eat this bug.
Okay, and Alvin will hand the bug to Vessel.
Hope we get something out of this. I'll consume a bug. The golden beetle.
Oh God. All right. So you pop it in your mouth. Make a sand roll.
Jesus Christ.
It's a pill bug.
Success.
Okay.
Yeah.
You pop it in like it's a Tic Tac. And doesn't seem to affect you. You just like, everyone's kind of watching and you're like, ugh.
It's bitter. You could use a chaser.
And you get a little dizzy. feel a little scratchiness in your throat, kind of a fever sort of washes over you a little bit. You feel this like intense desire to like get some fresh air.
I'm not feeling too good. I'm gonna step outside real quick, guys.
I'll go
We're
with
going to
you.
go with you.
Okay. So you guys follow. You guys go out into the parking lot. Vessel, you step out into the parking lot and you are confused. As you, for a moment, as you walk through the front door of the hotel, or this is probably one of those cheap motels that each has their own individual doors, and you step out, and for the faintest moment, you didn't see a parking lot. You didn't see the Boston skyline. You saw what amounted to kind of this long, kind of blue-green lake. It's just this coast of water just kind of extends outward in front of you. You even see like the stuff that was immediately next to you, like a railing here or a post there, just are sitting right on top of the surface of it. You can see that there's reflections in the lake itself, and as you look, you can see what looks like a skyline. You can see buildings, skyscrapers. They don't look anything like Boston. You know, they look like something out of, you know, somewhere in the middle of Europe, maybe like a Germany or a Prague or some old Euro country. And you look up and you can see that where all of the buildings, Fenway and various other noteworthy buildings in Boston should be, you see the same buildings that you now see in the reflection of the lake. And you just feel like this intense sort of wooziness, like, kind of overtake you a little bit. You kind of shake your head. And then you see the parking lot again. You see there's like a group of people that are smoking around what looks like some crappy old like Datsun, Nissan. They're just kind of smoking something, kind of looking at you, watching you. As you realize one of them is Dr. Dallin. One of them is head nurse Samagina. Another one is Agent Exeter, and they're just looking at you. They're dressed in sort of like baggy clothing. And they're just... And you realize that like they're talking to you. And like as you watch, you hear finally a voice come out of Agent Exeter's mouth, but it's not Agent Exeter. It's just like a 20-year-old kid. What the fuck you looking at, bruh? And your mind kind of opens up for a minute, and then you see there's just like three dudes just sitting there, like all in their 20s. One of them throws a cigarette down, like, "What do you want, old man?" And you start to feel a little bit better, as if the heat flash that you just had has settled.
Pardon me, youngsters. I just lost myself.
Youngsters? Man, fucking, let's get the fuck out of here. And you see they all like get into their car and they drive away at like 12:30 at night. None of you saw anything that he saw, other than the hoodlums and their clothes. Hoodlums is a horrible word, but like, you know what I mean. The punks, you know. Yeah.
So what happened? So Fawn will kind of look at Vessel, and if his eyes seem to be clearing a bit.
I guess I was hallucinating. Sort of a bad trip. I'll explain what I saw, where I was.
Well, that old Europe stuff fits the Russo-Germanic hegemony stuff that we've had with like books and whatnot.
And the book you found about the girl who, like, she disappeared or whatever. You know?
Yeah, Evelyn Fitzroy.
Yeah,
I think-
where the cover it's got like the two cities and they're touching either like along like the lake line or whatever.
A World Without Doors is the name of that.
Yes.
Okay. It's well past midnight. You just saw that weird stuff. It sounded like the guy you thought you saw was Agent Exeter's trying to pick a fight with you, and then they all just turned into like 20-something Bostonians. And what do you guys want to do now?
We can dig more into it in the morning. The competitive bit.
Okay.
We want to let Agent Exeter continue his ritual.
For all we know, he's been doing it this whole time. We've been looking at the Dorchester house and all these other things. What's one more night?
Oh.
Chelsea, I totally get what you're saying. I do. I just wonder, with all the police presence that's going to be over in that neighborhood.
Not only the police presence, but we're taking a beating from this, and if we don't sleep, we're going to be fighting ourselves as much as we're fighting whatever else is going on.
A good night's sleep would help with some of my my willpower is low.
Okay. So you guys retire to your rooms then. Go to sleep. Fawn, go ahead and roll your...
Son of a bitch.
Do you still have your reroll?
Yeah, you can use a reroll. It's a different scene. We have 2 left. Courtesy of Captain Kodai.
I'll take one and I'll leave one. Fingers. It's low. I've only got 34 sand left, so let's see.
Okay.
Oh,
It's not a critical fail, at least.
there's that.
All right. So oh, geez.
Okay.
That's all good. So you do not sleep.
I don't sleep.
You have a very restless night, in fact. Trying to look for yours.
I get a minus 20%
I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong
tomorrow
person.
on all of
Yeah,
my rolls.
minus 20%
I
of the
don't
rolls. Yeah.
get an EWP
Mhm.
for the night.
Rest of you, if you need to restore it, you can go ahead and restore your willpower. Otherwise, morning comes. Saturday morning. What's the plan?
Well, we noted we need to take out Exeter.
I don't know if I want to listen to the phone bug, but we definitely need to investigate him more, or just get inside and see what exactly is going on. But we need to have a plan. If Exeter is worth any amount of pull with the police, like he was last time, and we all get sent to jail, that is one risk. So how do we plan to proceed if he calls the cops, or if there's another loud commotion? This neighborhood might have cops posted much closer, since there have now been 2 incidents within the last week.
If we go during the daytime, they may be less likely to be there because both the incidents happened at night.
Fair.
I don't know if I think he would call the police. I feel like he's plenty. My hunch is he's plenty dangerous on his own. I don't know that he needs to
Is
back in law
there
enforcement.
anybody that we could contact that's not Agent Exeter in Delta Green to verify about
Just your friend that you called to
Agent
get out of jail.
Exeter?
I would imagine all of you have contacts in Delta Green. Sure.
Yeah,
I mean, you guys
then-
have been doing, like, in the interim of these 20 years, all of you at some point have been on other missions and stuff. We just don't play them all out. So yeah, I would say all of you probably have contacts within Delta Green.
So then Chelsea would probably reach out to like a previous handler.
Does anyone know an O? Because we had to call an O.
That was one of the notes in the
Yeah.
Leather Vallis.
This intelligence man seems he's done his research, and it sort of matches up. So if we get in contact with this O figure, he'd give us some answers.
I would say that I mean, you guys might have friends that have a name that, or contacts that the name that start with O, but whether or not those just happen to be the same O is, yeah. But yeah. Okay, so what's the plan? I've heard people say go during the day. I've heard Chelsea say contact Delta Green. So what are we doing?
There was one note that said west window during sleep ? How many windows are on the west side of Exeter's house?
There was
3 or 4.
4.
4.
East and west side both had 4.
I was going to ask about that, and then other bad things happened, and I totally forgot about the west window thing.
Yeah. Well, so I'm just gonna say, all right, if we just assume that this person, that Exeter, is just working through the night or doing stuff throughout the night, well, he could potentially be asleep. We could try to, during the day, we could try to use the west window to get in. I don't know if that ties in, but yeah, I think we're just gonna have to go there and see what happens.
Is that the plan? Go ahead.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
What was the west window part of?
That was in the
numbers?
leather valise. That was one of
Yeah.
the notes, because there was like that. The leather valise had it was basically like a Delta Green file, like an info file. There was all sorts of stuff that was stamped with Delta Green. One of the handwriting notes said that. So like there was like throughout the file there were 2 different sets of handwriting on various notes. That's like where you had the picture of like Emmett Mosby, you had the picture of Exeter, in the kind of the pantomime with the woman, and one of the notes mentioned that, and so that's the thing that you got from the dresser of room 616.
And it was in the margins of a section of the play concerning dreams.
Correct.
Okay.
All right. So what's the plan?
So I think we gotta roll up to Exeter's house and then burn it down.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I think we just. I know I kind of dismissed it, Album, when you mentioned it yesterday, but I think we've attempted twice to stealth, and drunk drivers and old ladies and busybodies have thwarted all of our attempts, so I think just going straight at it.
Okay. So the plan is to drive over right now in the morning. Is that right? Am I missing anything?
Seems, yeah, that's what I planned for.
Chelsea?
Don't like it, but
Okay. All right.
Is there anything that you know about in anything that you've got that would help protect us or anything?
no.
Hey, Vesely, you have a taser I could use?
See if I have a taser.
Just roll luck. Let's see if you have one on you. No taser, but maybe a knife, something like that. Okay. So you guys drive over to the house, go back into the neighborhood, swarming with no, it's not swarming with cops. They're gone. It's someone heard a noise, the cops showed up, and they were gone in like 20 minutes. And so you come back, and you notice in the bright light of day, his car is missing from the driveway. Doesn't seem to be home. You can see that there's a couple other people, like in the neighboring houses. You can see that there's some activity, like some of his neighbors seem to be up. It is a Saturday morning, but Exeter doesn't seem to be here. What do you guys want to do?
Well, we try to get in. What do you think?
Just lockpick.
Or just
There's
walk
a
up to the
lot of
front door
people
and
out,
see
so-
if it's open.
See if he's home, sort of thing.
Okay. So walk up to the front door. All of you going? And are of you dressed in your coveralls, or are you dressed in
No.
normal clothes?
Normal
It's in
clothes.
normal clothes.
Okay. So the 4 of you get out of your car. Do you park right in front of his house, or do you park down the street? Do you take any measures to cloak your car or anything like that? Not saying you
Cross.
need to. I just want to know.
It's the other side of the street.
Okay, you park across the street.
I was thinking maybe we park the car so that, like, if you're looking at it straight on, you can't see the front door, like you're right in front of it.
Okay.
But it's kind of blocking us a little bit because if you're in the driveway, you can see a full view of us at the front door.
Okay. Sure. Go up to the front porch. It's patio, overhang. You've been on this before, Fawn. It's does not look like it's been used very regularly. It doesn't look like the front door has been open in quite some time. There's like piled up mail, leaves, and dirt. Just like a quick glance of the mail, you can see there's a bunch of like overdue bills. Like you can see past due. There's a whole mess load here as well. Door seems to be locked. What would you like to do?
You guys want to know if he's home first before we go in? His car's missing.
If you can pick the lock and we can get in quietly, we would have the upper hand then, but it seems to be pitch black in his house all the time. Actually, does it look pitch? Were we able to walk by a window and see if it's pitch black in there even right now?
So yeah, you can tell that like most of the curtains are drawn. So you can't tell about but I mean, just the general idea of like there's sun out, so there's going to be more light than at night, but it does look like the curtains are drawn.
Yeah, I'll see if I can open this up.
We'll just kind of keep an eye out for anyone looking at the front door, or looking in our direction, rather.
Okay. So, go ahead and... So you're trying to just pick the lock. So go ahead and roll... You don't have crafting lock picking, right? Craft lock picking?
No, I don't have that.
So roll basic at D100. You need 20 or under to pick the lock effectively.
Out of 15.
And you do. You take a moment. Everyone else shields you to some degree. You guys aren't really like stealthing. Like people see you. Like if they're someone who's jogging by, but it's but like you're up there, and you. So it's probably not a case of like people have seen you. It's just no one has seemed to have taken too much care in the fact that you're there. So roll for the old lady. All right. Is there anything else you want to do? There's a bunch of mail on the ground. Is there anything else you wanted to do? Leaves.
Grab a couple, see what they're saying.
All right. And do you immediately go inside? Do you like just grab what you can and just like step inside?
Yes.
Okay. So everyone grabs a couple of things and you step inside. When you get inside, you kind of smell Exeter. You smell like kind of a stale gasoline, oily smell in here. You take a moment to get your eyes to adjust to kind of like the darkened room. It is darker in here. Just because the curtains are all drawn, it has this kind of stale smell to it. But you look in your hands, and you can see that not only are there like a bunch of various bills, you can see that there's some very official looking documents, like envelopes sent from like the police union, from the police station, like the sort of like urgent. You also notice that there's a postcard with a tinted photo of kind of like a strange looking castle and series of buildings that when you look at it, Vessel, you immediately start to get a little hot. Like you could feel the heat start to swell underneath your jaw and kind of rise up to your head, as it's the exact image that you saw when you stepped out of the hotel last night. I need you to roll SAN.
Oh.
Hey, Sindar, how's it going? Okay, you're all right. But you saw this. It was a brief glimpse, but this is what you saw. It's the same thing. There's this kind of almost old-fashioned looking skyline of some kind of European city, and then there's a lake in front of it, and it's kind of reflected in it. And I do, in fact, actually have that one, I think. Looks something like that. And that's the front of the postcard.
Does that look familiar to me from the book?
Which one? No, the cover of the book does not look like this. No.
Okay.
No. And then you flip it over onto the back, and you can see that there's more stuff on the back. And you can see that it's written in some kind of code. It's like just gibberish, basically.
Oh, geez.
And then you have all these different bills, and you have those notes from the police station. Who here? Does anyone here have architecture or history or photography?
I've got 80 in history.
Okay.
Oh yeah, you beat me.
Looks like Moorish design, and would probably be Spain, is your guess.
The code that's on the... Oh, sorry, go ahead. No, sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I'll say the code on the back. Would my cryptography be
Sure.
able to crack that, or cryptology rather?
Yeah. I think so. I think, what are you at, like 50% or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, it would take a little time, but I think you could. Yeah, you take a look at it, and you're like, oh yeah, I can do this. This is what I do on Sundays, and so yeah, it would take you probably a couple minutes to just to put through. So you guys notice again, there's like a bunch of letters from the union. There's a bunch of letters from other stuff, but looking around, you guys can see that the electricity is off. You don't see anything whatsoever in here to suggest that like there's a lamp on, or like a TV on, or anything like that. Instead, hang on, let me get some stuff up. You can see that you're in the door opens up onto what looks like a living room of some kind, or at least a space for a living room. There's kind of like a big room off to the left, and then there's like this living room right in front of you. Looks like doors that you think are like double doors off to the right that seems to lead to what you would imagine is probably a dining room. You see a staircase almost directly ahead of you, and then kind of like a big empty room to the left. Looking around, you can see that there's machinery everywhere. There's like machine parts, stuff from cars. You can see what looks like, pieces of like transmissions that have been kind of broken down all over the place. You can see that there's, one sec, I'm trying to get my stuff.
Fawn would be looking for
Drive shafts, industrial counterweights, like all sorts of these different machines and stuff like that are strewn throughout the living room and through those like partially open double doors into what looks like a dining room. And they're in all various states of disassembly. And you can see that there is in front and like kind of just to the left of the door, the double doors into the dining room, you can see that there's a kind of a peculiar looking piece of like machinery clockwork thing. It's just kind of standing there in the corner, like some kind of weird Frankensteinian composition of different mechanical parts.
Does any of the machinery in the place that we've seen so far look like the stuff that was on that napkin design I had found way back?
Roll in ×5.
That was my exact question.
Success.
So it's hard to tell for sure, but you think that one of the thing that I just described that's in the corner, that Frankensteinian composition, looks like something from the napkins, yeah. Like you take a moment, you hold it up, and you kind of like you're just kind of standing just inside the door, and you're just kind of like doing one of these things. Maybe you still have it on you, and just like you can kind of see some of the similar arcs and things here and there. Maybe, there's a big difference between like a diagram and a physical thing.
Alvin will kind of speak quietly because he doesn't know if the lady or anyone's in here, but he's just going to point to that and then point to the napkin he has and say like, that's too coincidental.
Yeah, I definitely think we need to clear the house. Like do a sweep, make sure
Okay.
that lady's not here.
Agreed.
I can keep watch up front or out front. Out front.
Your awareness
You
is
wanna
much
leave the
better than
house?
mine.
What was that, Chelsea?
Oh, I misheard you. I thought you said you were gonna keep a watch out front, like you were gonna leave
No,
the
I'm just
house.
like
And I'm like,
outside
no.
the window.
Okay. So you're gonna open up a curtain, just kind of look out, keep an eye out the window, staying here in the living room.
Yeah.
All right. So there's the dining. There's like the dining room, double doors, and where you can kind of get through it. There's a kind of machinery in the way that you kind of step over here and there. There's the contraption that Album has pointed out that's like right next to the door to the dining room. There's the staircase that seems to go up to a second floor. Immediately to the left, there seems to be another like kind of open room area, more machinery kind of sprawled all over the place. You can see that there's a bunch of like off to the left, there's a bunch of like old books, tools, all sorts of stuff kind of stacked up immediately. And from what you can tell, it's possible that like you could get to sort of the like, you can't tell for sure, but it looks like there might be some door. Actually, no, you can't tell for sure because it's not nighttime. But you can see off to the left, like there looks to be a door that you would imagine maybe either goes into a bathroom or a closet storage, something like that. So there's also, I think, like a chimney off to the right, like a fireplace. So you guys walk me through where you're going and what you're looking for.
Fawn is most interested in going upstairs to where the woman has been seen.
Okay. So Fawn starts climbing up the stairs.
Before she does, Album's gonna like grab her arm and say like, "Do you have a weapon or something?"
I have the mag light that I purchased at the hardware store yesterday.
Album's gonna shake his head and say like, "Use this one. Like, this will blind the shit out of her. It's million lumens or something like that. It's like a secondary one. I'm assuming yours is like for blunt. His is more for like blinding or
Discombobulating.
Yeah.
So I am dual wielding flashlights.
Okay, so the dual wielding flashlights Fawn goes up the stairs. Chelsea and Album, where are you going? Vessel, you said you're staying down here and keeping an eye out through the window.
We should probably do 2 and 2 on a floor just in case we actually run into somebody.
Okay,
That works because Album's gonna want to sit at the dining. There's a table right in the dining room.
There's a dining room, yeah.
Yeah, he's just gonna sit at the table and try and crack this code while you both check out the upstairs.
Okay.
But he'll also
Yeah.
ask Chelsea. He's like, "Do you have a weapon?"
I mean, I have my mag light and a pocket knife.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So Chelsea and Fawn go upstairs. Vessel, you're looking out the window. Album, you step over some of the machinery on the ground and stuff down here. There's lots of stuff that you could sift through. And you go through the doors, you go past like that contraption, and you sit down at the dining room, spread some stuff out, and start working on the code. Okay. So then in the dining room, you realize there's like another set of doors here, like on the left, that kind of looks like it goes out into a hallway, and you can kind of spy. Looks like a kitchen in the back, maybe, and maybe some other. There's like a hallway. Well, actually, first it's like a hallway, and kind of everything sort of connects to that hallway. It looks like there's another room off in the corner, and then there's like a kitchen off to your right. So there's like a lot of different ways you could potentially go from when it comes to the dining room. For those of you who go upstairs, though, since you're actually moving and trying to do some stuff, when you get up here, you can see that you don't see any signs of a woman when you get up, but you do notice that there are 2 doors immediately on the right and on the left. And there looks to be like a hallway landing with some kind of closet right in front of you. And then, yeah, there's like a right to the right and right to the left. There looks to be bedrooms.
Okay, so if I'm understanding the layout, the room that I have seen her in the window of, I think, is off to the right.
Okay. So you step off to the right. What about you, Chelsea?
I'll step into the room to the left.
Okay, so you guys go in separate rooms. So we'll start with Agent Fawn as you step into, we'll call it the East Room, and sorry. This looks like a room that probably was. It's bedroom size, but it looks like it was probably used at some point as a home office. You can see that there's still a bunch of furniture here, but a lot of it looks like it's sort of been broken down to some degree. Like there's like this cheap particle board desk that's the legs are kind of knocked off of it. It's in the middle of the room. It's overturned. Well, I should say the chair is kind of overturned. The desk sits amongst what is effectively just like a sea of papers. There's just papers everywhere, half-open books, scrawled receipts, like diagrams. Everything's all over the place. I'm sorry, this is Chelsea, by the way. I did it backwards. Chelsea, you can see that there's a strange machine. It's approximately the size of, we'll call it a water cooler, that's sitting on this desk. It's a kind of a contraption of like metal here and there. And it looks like there's like other there's like boxes around with like stuff in them here and there. Melissa, Fawn, you go into what looks like a bedroom. There's a half turned over futon. There's a splintered dresser that's got looks like it's got a bunch of like I want to call it wounds, like something has hit it, like someone's like kind of cut into it. There's piles of dirty clothing. You can see that there's what looks like a hibachi micro grill that's like sitting right next to the futon. There's a closed closet door off to your left when you first come in that's got a mirror on the outside, but the mirror has clearly been smashed and there's like little broken bits of mirror on the ground. The floor is hardwood, and you can tell that it's been chipped here and there. There's these little half moon marks all over the place. So yeah, we'll start with that. What do the two of you want to do?
There's no like closet or anything in this room, right?
There is indeed a closet.
I'm gonna check the closet out.
Okay. All right, so you open up the closet, and you can see that it's as far as you can tell, it's got like this the doors of the closet in your room aren't like the ones I described in Melissa's, which are like mirrors and stuff like that. Yours instead have like these rust red doors, actually the same color as like the exterior. And as you pull it open, you notice there's like all sorts of piles of these old clothes on the ground, and there's a bunch of small, fairly unremarkable looking boxes here and there. But as you're kind of shining your light around and looking around, you can see that inside, set into the wall on the opposite of the door, you can see what looks like a tiny door. It's about 1.5 feet tall and about a foot, or maybe 2 feet tall, and maybe 1.5 feet wide. And you can see that there's a small like a little mail slot that's set into the door, and then like the door itself is kind of that reddish color. Whoops, sorry about that. Wrong thing.
And there's like a doorknob and stuff on it, or just a mail
Yeah, it just
slot?
looks like a door, but yeah, there is a mail slot. It just looks like a door.
I want to like.
This tiny little door.
I want to like lift up the mail slot to see if I see wall behind it.
So you lift up the mail slot, and you look through, and you can't really see much. Roll an alertness test.
My alertness is so fucking bad.
I know. Eventually, we'll be better. Not today.
Can I use my
You-
reroll? No, it's only 24. But that's a crit fail.
It's up to you. Entirely your decision, Ashley. Got one reroll left, I think. So
Do I want to use it long?
No, do you?
Oh, you guys are not. Melissa, do I want to use it?
It's a low percent, but it's also a critical failure. So
It's not as bad as Zweihander if we crit fail. I don't think. I don't know for sure.
just
Uh,
reroll.
Okay. Yeah, that's still at least it's not.
well,
a
you're
crit.
so close both times, though.
God damn it.
You can see bars, but can't really make anything behind it, like vertical bars, like iron bars, on the opposite side of the door, and you can you hear sounds, but you can't distinguish what they are. Like you can, it's not quiet.
Can I open the door?
Yeah.
Is it locked?
No, you can open the door. Yeah, open the door, and you can see that it's like a very small, like foot by a foot and a half hallway that is almost immediately just a few feet in, stopped by what looks like bars. And then it's just sort of like this dark space beyond.
I'm shining my flashlight in. Does that give me any more vision of like what's behind the bars?
No, not really. You can see a old wooden floor though, and you can see that there's a bunch of books stacked all around. Now, with where you're at in the room,
Yeah.
you would expect there to be, like in the closet, there should be like stairs on the other side, like the layout of where the closet is.
Yeah.
This makes no sense. Roll a sand test.
Okay, fair.
I was waiting for that.
I already knew shit was gonna be weird. Fail.
Okay. Take 1 point of sanity damage from 1 point of sanity from the unnatural.
Okay.
Okay. Let's switch over to Fawn. Actually, no. Let's switch downstairs and go to Album because I want to make sure these guys get to do something. Album, I'm not going to make your roll because I know that your specific, like we've talked about this, your guy was a cryptologist, but this is what you worked on. So I'm not going to make you roll to actually decode it because I want a happy Derek. So you take a moment and you go ahead and share. Now, instead of looking at the image, like at the top of the bar of that window, click text and you can kind of see, and I've typed the text out for you. But it says, "Dearest M, made the crossing with a strange little man called Mosby. All is well. The towers of gold are magnificent, and Yehitel," and then there's like in parentheses spelling question mark, "is a wonder. Say hello to V for me. Abigail is here. Wish you were."
Wait, where is that typed out so I can?
That's I have a typo in there, but like it should be the Exeter postcard back decoded. Let me show it to you guys again. There you go. You should be able to see it
Okay.
now. Sorry, I have like so many different things open up. I keep
No.
forgetting that. There we go. So that's what you have decoded. And it didn't take you very long. You're very good at this. Vessel, roll. Your alertness is 80%.
Yeah.
You've seen a handful of people go past the house. Some people running, jogging, walking dogs. Doesn't look like there's any cop cars out here. Doesn't look like anyone's turned to... No one's looking at your van or anything like that. Doesn't look like anything's going on. You want to keep just watching the windows or anything else you want to do?
I can look around the bottom floor for a bit.
Okay. So there's a lot of just stuff. Like there's like stacks of books, stacks of machinery, boxes here and there. there's that strange machine that's like the contraption that's near the dining room door. So is there anything in particular that you're looking to mess with?
I kept hearing like machine noises. Maybe see if those ones have been used at all recently.
I'm sorry, say that again.
If it's been used, like it's not just been sitting here gathering dust.
The thing in the corner?
Yeah, if I can
Okay.
tell.
Okay. So you move up very close. You start kind of taking a look. As you do, you hear kind of this whirring sound, like begin. You can see like as the machine itself just begins to suddenly kind of move, and you can hear this building and growing spinning. You see no power source. You don't see anything. This is just metal connected to metal, like, and it's just, and it's getting louder and louder and faster and faster. Spin, 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 spin. And then at a certain point, you see it just swoosh, and it kind of like snaps outward, and these 4 arms or legs just extend outward like it's like a lunar capsule that's landing on Mars or something like that, and onto the ground. And you can see that one of those arms with like this sharp blade lunges in your direction.
Oh, no.
What's your dex?
Let's find out. It's 10.
All right. Does anybody have higher or lower dex than Agent Vessel?
We're upstairs.
Doesn't matter.
14.
Mine's 10.
Yeah, mine's 13.
What's yours? You were muffled. Album.
13.
Okay. Okay. And then you said 10 as well, Chelsea?
Yeah.
Okay.
The machine grew legs.
This thing's going to get to go first.
Oh, fuck.
So, Album, you're in the other... You're just a few feet away. Like, you walked past this thing and sat down. And you've like, oh, I got it. And as you like kind of lift up and you're like, oh, I finally got it. You hear, and suddenly like this cacophony of like metal sounds grinding, like you can hear like scraping. And then you look and you see that this was a relatively compact, like looking metallic statue has just erupted with activity, and its arms and legs have dropped down to the ground, and one of them reaches out and attacks Vessel, who's standing next to it. Oh God!
Discern if it runs on electricity.
It does not look.
There's no power.
Yeah. All right.
Oh my gosh.
That's a 49 to hit. Let me pull up its 49. So that's a success on its attack. I got to get up its stat block really quick. 1 second, guys. I'm sorry. There's a lot going on.
I started yelling sock puppet. It's the safe word.
Sock puppet. Oh, goodness. Guys. This mission has just been cursed. Trying to get anything done at this house has just been so cursed. All right. So, okay. All right. So you're going to take 1d8 plus 2.
Oh,
you take 7 points of damage as this long,
holy crap.
slender piece of metal with a sharp edge just cuts right into your torso.
We got a
Now,
problem there.
Fawn, you're looking around upstairs and you hear
was.
sock puppet and we got a problem here, and you hear like this vague voo, 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 and then just all hell breaks loose. But you're upstairs and you can kind of vaguely hear this because your alertness is like, what was your alertness is what, like 40
something.
roll alertness plus 20. Let's see if you actually hear him calling out for help. Chelsea, you can do the same thing.
Oh my gosh.
I said plus 20, so that's actually a
That's-
success.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yay.
So Chelsea, you'll be able to act on your turn. Fawn, you don't really put two and two together that something bad's happening yet. Album, you're fine. You can do stuff. You're in the other room sitting down, and you look and you see this thing strike out, and as it cuts into the torso of your friend here, Vessel, you can see the blade come out the back as well, and it just retract as if he's just literally been stabbed through and through. What would you like to do?
Can I look? Can I do some sort of like inspection on this thing? Run up to it while it's distracted with murdering Vessel, and see if I can see like some kind of power source on it.
Sure. One
Do
second.
you still have your EMP on you?
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to see if it somehow runs on some form of electricity. Because if it does, I could just nuke it or EMP it.
All right, so you're gonna move and get closer. You're gonna step into the doorway of the of like between the dining room and this living room.
Yeah.
You're
Just
now
get close enough.
close enough. What I'm gonna say is like if you do this, you're getting close enough to be essentially within its sort of its reach, its effective area that it could like take a step to and attack. Because remember that in Delta Green in combat, like there's no separate move in action. You can kind of move a couple steps with an attack, or you can just like bolt. So like just remember that. So it's going to be close enough that if it wanted to turn and attack you, you're within its range. Okay, so do you have like craft mechanics or anything like that?
No, all my stuff is really. I mean, I've got just microelectronics, electric security systems,
Okay.
comp sci.
I'll
nothing.
say roll at 40%. Normally it would just be a 20% if you don't have mechanics, but because you're good at like electronics and stuff like that, I'll give you a little extra bonus. So roll at plus 40. So just roll D100 and 40 or under.
87.
Yeah, you take a look at this thing and you cannot make heads or tails of it. It looks different than it did on the page now, like on the sheet. Like you saw on the napkin, like it was kind of in its compacted resting state, but now it's like suddenly moving and functional. And you don't like, maybe if it would stop moving and it would stop attacking Vessel, you could like take a moment to look at it, but you don't see anything immediately to suggest like this is how you turn it off or this is what's powering it. You don't see any kind of like batteries or wires or anything like that. It just makes utterly no sense.
Do I have any general info? Do I see like any like gears turning as it moves its arms, like giant cogs or whatnot?
Yeah, you see a little bit of everything. You see like where where different like legs or different pipes are. Yeah, there's like these little connective like bolts and nuts and things that are kind of anchoring the elbows and the arms and the shoulders, stuff like that. Okay.
So am I able to dodge attacks? Is the mechanic?
I'm sorry, say that again.
The dodge attack action. Is that a thing? Or dodge? Yeah.
Yeah,
For
we
defense.
never do this, do we? We never do combat. We only
I'm taking-
combat with crazy poets. Let me bring up our combat rules again because I do have them.
It's your agent's dodge skill against the attack roll.
Yeah, but attack this opponent things. So I don't remember. Can you declare that on
yeah, I'm reading
somebody
on-
else's turn?
On 53, it says right here, you can dodge or fight against an attack even before your agent's dex order in the turn.
Okay, perfect. So then,
It just becomes my next action.
right. Okay, so is that what you want to do?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it then. So you have to do. What's your dodge skill? Post
7.
test, pitch your agent's dodge skill against the attack roll. If you roll, so roll your dodge.
Oh, it's at 70. I don't
Okay.
think it beats it.
So let me bring it up one more time. So if you do this, it becomes your just turns. If your roll beats the attacker's roll, your agent takes no damage. It does. Yeah, you're good. It rolled a 49 or something like that.
Does that beat it though?
Yeah,
What
you
if
rolled a
we
70. You rolled a 70, it rolled a 49. And yours is still success, right? It's a successful roll at 70, and it's higher than its successful roll at 49. So that's beating it.
Okay.
Do you read it differently? Like how are you reading it?
I think normally it's just a.
I felt like
under.
lower was better. Is that not the case?
No, I don't think so. Because if that's the case, then people who have like an 80% of dodge are getting penalized when they're going up against a person who's attacking and they only have a 10% to attack, and just like, oh, I just happened to roll a 5. So
Okay.
I think because your spectrum of dodging is so high, you're getting credit for it. So there's more results that are going to benefit you. So yeah, I think you managed to dodge out of the way. I'm going to say it still cuts you, and so it's like, but it's more like a flavor cut, and
Okay,
it cuts
nice.
like your side of your side of your like your ribs, and you can kind of see a little bit of blood, but it could have been a whole lot
ketchup
worse. Your ketchup packets. I hate you. Why'd you say that? Okay.
He just has like a condiment pocket in his jacket.
So Vessel,
Next time,
that
Album
was
should
your
clean it.
turn. So Album, your turn was to look at it, and you moved a couple feet and you tried to examine it. Vessel, you dodged on your turn, so that was your action. Chelsea, you heard, so you can do something. You heard craziness happening below, and you paid attention, even though you were like in the closet. The closet is closer to the door and the stairs than where Fawn is. She's a little bit deeper into her room, so that probably makes sense. But what do
Yeah.
you want to do?
Can I reach a book inside this hole without like?
It's
climbing
not
through?
that far. No, it's not. It's much further than that.
Okay, so then I'm gonna shut the door
Okay.
and grab the machine that was on the desk, right?
You want to?
Or-
It's the size of a water cooler.
Oh, then maybe not. Can I just glance at it real quick? Like, what does this thing look like?
Okay.
Don't mind the screaming downstairs.
I mean, I'm gonna
Okay.
run downstairs, but like,
Well,
this
no, you're
would've
not.
been-
This is your action.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So either you're running downstairs or you're looking at this.
Fuck. Because I wanted to look at this when I first got up there, but okay. No, I guess I'll. If he's screaming the safe word, then I'm
Sock
gonna
puppet.
run downstairs and I'm gonna kind of like bang on the wall for Fawn.
Okay.
Be like, hey, and then as I'm heading downstairs.
Okay. So you're starting to run downstairs. Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Top of the round. It's turn again. It's going to. Oh God. Long. It's gonna hurt you so bad.
Please no.
So as it reached out to try to stab you, and you kind of dodge, maybe did like a step back, it's now just going to charge in your direction and just try to ram you and like kind of knock into you. So it's just running full force in your direction, takes a couple steps, and then just tries to smash into you. With a 6, that is successful. Are you taking
Can
dodge
I dodge out of
again?
the way like a bull charging me?
Are you taking the dodge action again?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
I should have got me this one.
That's a failure this time. You're going to take 8 points of damage
Ooh.
as it smashes into you. Okay. Then it is Fawn's turn. Fawn, you just heard Chelsea running past, smacking the wall. You know something's going downstairs.
I'll run downstairs.
Okay, so you run downstairs. And so the two of you are on the staircase. The staircase itself, you don't have view of like the actual room itself, but you do see suddenly the body of Vessel just stumble back, smashing into machinery as if something just kind of pushed him, or if he's fallen. And you can see that there's a cut in his shirt, and there's like a little bit of blood that's starting to show. Album, it is your turn.
I want to try to get this thing to not be able to move. So if there's like any gears that I can see moving its lower half so I can advance or retreat or whatever, I want to try and like just grab a piece of metal in the room and just jam it in there.
Okay. So yeah, there's plenty of machinery around, so you can grab something and smack it. You get there's a pipe or whatever. This is gonna be a melee attack.
Unarmed combat?
No, it's gonna be since you're specifically taking you're trying to take something and jam it in. I think it's gonna be a melee attack.
Forgot that was a separate thing. Success.
Yeah. So you try to jam this into like one of these sections where you think possibly, don't forget you failed that roll, that you think might actually affect it. I'll tell you what, roll a d4 and like d4 plus 1 or something. Okay.
5.
All right. Damn, good roll. Okay. Sorry, there's like a weird stuff that this can do. So you just, and you can see as you jam this pipe right into the spot you were aiming, which is like this somewhat open gear. It's kind of like you can see that every now and then one of the legs kind of like readjusts and resituates itself. And you smash it in there, and it kind of makes the arm kind of go limp for a second, but then as it twists and turns, it just cuts the pipe in half, and it just crumbles to the ground. The pipe that you just jammed in there, like it was nothing, like it was just ripping through paper. Vessel, it is your turn. You dodged.
Yeah, I was used up. And
Chelsea, you're on the stairs. You can't see the thing that they're fighting, but you can see that you can see Vessel kind of standing there. He's definitely wounded, beaten up a little bit. What do you want to do?
Oh God. Could I like go down and grab him and drag him upstairs?
Not all in one action, no.
Or like at least onto the stairs?
I mean, he's standing up. He's not on the ground. He's still there. So it's a question of whether he would want you to do that. And I think you can run down and grab him. So if that's your action, you run down, you grab him. You see this machine that is launching itself at him. And you can see as Album has just smashed a pipe in, and you reach out and you grab him. And that's your turn.
Okay.
So you are in the area as well. We go back up to the top. It's the lion's turn.
Do I get a turn?
Did I skip you? I'm sorry. No, Fawn, you were at the top. You're at the top of the round. You're the
okay.
second one to go. So there are now 3 different targets in the area. 1 to 2. I'm going to go for... 1 to 2, it's going to be Album. 3 to 4, Chelsea. 5 to 6, it'll be... All right, Album, it's going to turn to you. You're the last one who just kind of hit it and did damage to it. So you can see as it smashes down and cuts the pipe down, the arm that just kind of cut your, like the armpit of that like long, almost spider-like like leg readjusts itself and just jams it indirectly at you to try to impale you. You haven't gone yet, so if you wanted to dodge, you can say so.
Yeah, I'll give it a go.
All right, so let me roll to attack. See if it even succeeds. It fails, actually, as it lunges out at you. Then it is Fawn. It is now your turn.
So I finished running down the stairs. I also see the machine.
Yeah, so you take a couple extra steps down and you can peek around and you can see that there's now the 3 of them are now all surrounding this machine, this large machine just thrashing all over the place with these different like almost like sword arms that are just flying around and whirling, and you can hear it's making a horrible racket. You also notice that as it's moving around, it's making these small little half moon cuts in the floor that are identical to the things that you saw upstairs in the room that you were in. What do you want to do? As you watch, like, it lunged directly at Album, and Album is lucky that this thing just missed it ever so slightly, and it cuts right through the dining room door. You see the top half of the dining room door just sort of flop down onto the ground.
So what I want to look for, because the place smells like gas, so I want to look for something in the machine that looks like it could be like a gas cap, or like could hold a tank or something to maybe try to like spill out the fuel source.
Do you have craft mechanics?
I of course do not.
Roll it at a +20.
I don't have.
I know, but roll it as roll a D100 and 1 to 20 to look for anything that would suggest fuel. This is like examining this thing, which is really a mechanical device, and that's.
I have a 10 in heavy machinery.
If you have anything that suggests like you're engineering or something like that, that's fine. You have 10 in heavy machinery, is that what you said?
Yes, I do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I would say 30 or under.
12.
Okay. You see absolutely no signs of a gas tank. You see absolutely no signs of a battery or wires that suggest any kind of electrical microcomputer. You see nothing whatsoever to suggest that there is a power source. This is literally just metal connected to metal, gears connected to gears, and more gears and more gears. Roll a SAN.
Oh no, this is when it happens. Oh, I succeeded.
You're good. Okay. It's going to go to album. You didn't have to worry. What would you like to do? It didn't hit you. Actually, Long, do you know that do you have to declare the dodge before the roll or after the roll?
Let me check again. It says it opposes, so I think you know.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. For now, I'm just going to rule it in favor of the players because I don't know the answer. So yeah, go ahead, Album, if you want to do something.
Is there how tall is this thing again, approximately?
It's about your height. If depends, because it's kind of moving and undulating so much, but when it's like kind of upright on all its legs, it's as tall as you guys.
Okay.
And bigger.
Is there? I want to try to push over something large on it to try and like, I guess, pin it to the ground or like knock it to the ground and hold it down. So like, there's a wardrobe or like a really tall, what are those things that people put a china cabinet?
Okay. Yeah, we'll say that there's a cabinet, like an open cabinet. The cabinet doors have been kind of pulled off, and you can see that there's just machinery that's been stacked up inside of it. Roll strength ×5 to see if you can tip this over.
Man, I did.
This thing falls right on top of it, and you watch as it lands. It kind of dips for a second as if it's starting to fall, then immediately bursts and springs back up and just sort of throws this heavy bookcase off of it and just smashes back against the wall and lands. It's still up, unmoving, not stuck whatsoever. This thing is a beast.
Album's like, we need to get the hell out of here.
Yeah,
this
we
thing
need to run.
cannot be stopped.
Vessel, what would you like to do?
Am I near the exit?
You're in the living room, so yeah, you could run towards the exit.
Goodbye, friends. And I dip.
Just wanted to remind you guys, because you might have forgotten this. It's daytime, and there have been multiple times I've mentioned that there have been people outside running by, walking dogs, playing in the yard, it's a Saturday morning in Boston. Just reminding you all.
We don't want it going out.
I'm just
He
want to remind that.
stabbed
I'm just
leaving the house.
mentioning this. Okay. So you're running for the door and you're dipping out, Vessel?
Wait, who just said we can't have to take care of this or can't take care of this?
What? Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
That was me, because I've tried to immobilize its legs, didn't work, and then I tried to collapse something to pin it, that also didn't work.
Wait,
So Album's just
does it look damaged at all? It got hit once, right?
No.
Yeah, combat in Delta Green is we don't want this.
Yeah, I'm like,
Okay. So you run out the door. All right. Next person is Chelsea. So you grabbed him. You were getting ready to pull him up the door, and he immediately just like stiff arms you.
Yeah.
Throws you to the ground right in front of it as an offering and run out the door.
I'm gonna. Do I want to go grab the thing from upstairs and take that with us?
What was it again?
It was another machine, but it was like the size of like a water cooler. So if this one's the lion, then the other one's the scribe. So that's what's printing the books.
Oh, then yeah, well, I would say so. I'm screaming this as I throw.
No, that's just us. So then yeah. So Chelsea's gonna head back upstairs.
Okay, you run upstairs. Top of the round. It's the lion's turn. There are now 2 targets in immediate vicinity. Fawn and Album. So I'm gonna do 50-50. 1 to 3 it'll be Album. It's gonna be Fawn as a new contender comes, and it's going to. You see it just sort of just turn, and it's gonna charge and try to ram you into the wall.
Okay.
Okay. You have already gone this turn, haven't you?
Well, isn't
It's
it
a critical
first of a
failure.
round?
That's true. Good call. Thank you. But it misses entirely, as if it didn't quite calibrate exactly your position, and you see it smash into the wall, and it nearly rips a hole in the wall in doing so.
Damn.
Fawn, it is your turn.
I'm trying to think of other means other than mechanical to try to get this thing to shut back down again. Trying to think of what I could say, or if we have any like symbols or something.
Just
I'm gonna
remember,
just try to-
it's the heat of combat here. There's this like giant metal creature in front of you that's lashing out and trying to kill everybody,
I'm
and
gonna
it seems
retreat up the
unstoppable.
stairs.
So, okay.
And while I'm retreating up the stairs, I'm going to just go through different languages, and just try to.
Okay.
Because I think Latin and
Okay.
just trying to communicate with it.
All right, so you retreat up the stairs. No problem. All right, so then it's going to go to Album. Album, you're now alone with this thing. As everybody, 2 of them have ran upstairs. Vessel has run out front. What do you want to do?
It smashed into a wall. Is this wall in the direction of the kitchen or away from the kitchen?
I'm going to say it's like it's towards where the front door is and off to the right. Yeah.
And the kitchen's in that same direction?
The kitchen's the opposite.
Yeah.
Kitchen's in the back of the house. Yeah.
Yeah. Album's going to run to the kitchen because that was off the dining room, if I remember correctly.
That is correct.
Yeah, there's a back door you could leave through.
Yeah, so you run back through the dining room into the hallway. You can see that there looks to be a bedroom, and then there's a kitchen. You can kind of go, and there's also looks to be a bathroom, possibly. So like there's 3 different doors, like 3 different directions you could potentially run.
Does it sound like the machine is following me as I'm running?
You're not sure. Just, I would say we'll leave you in the hallway. We'll leave you in the hallway. It's fine. We'll abstract a little bit because I don't know which way it's going yet. Then it's going to be Vessel's turn. Vessel, you're outside. You turn around. You see the doors open. No one else has come through the door.
Get the car started and hopefully people follow.
Okay.
You leave the door open?
Do you have the keys? If I recall, there were 3 of you that had the keys. That went and got this, right? No. Vessel went to get the hotel rooms. Mm-hmm. Album went to go get his stuff from his trailer, and I think it was Chelsea and Fawn who went and got the thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Roll a luck test to see if you happen to have the keys. You don't have
I
the
misplaced
keys.
them.
Yeah. Somebody else has them. So you run out the door. Maybe the doors are unlocked. Whatever. You can get inside if you'd like.
All right, I'll just wait then.
Okay. So you hop into the van and you wait. Chelsea, you're upstairs.
I'm gonna see. Can I lift this machine?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm gonna say yeah. I think you can pick it up.
Okay. Which side upstairs, like what window would lead towards the backyard?
So basically the north side of the room.
So
Imagine
this-
south basically goes to the. I think that's right. South basically goes to the street. North would go towards the backyard, which also goes towards that old woman's house.
Yeah.
And then there's nothing on the south. There's no windows on the south. It's just there's windows on the north and west walls. Actually, let me double check that. I'm not telling you the right thing. No, there's only windows on the west wall. I'm sorry. There's no windows on the north wall.
Okay. And the west wall just leads to like the side between the two houses.
It leads towards the house where Derek threw the rock into the window.
Okay. And this thing isn't moving.
You hear just a crazed deal of sounds below.
Okay, I'm gonna open if I can in the same movement, open the west window and toss this thing out. No? Okay.
No. Because you got to pick it up and then you kind of move it over, and like it's a big water cooler. It's not like a small thing. It's like a really giant thing. So okay. Then it's gonna come around to the lion's turn. There are 3 different ways it could potentially go. Up the stairs, outside, or to the back of the house.
Oh, not outside.
1 will be upstairs, or 1 to 2 will be upstairs. 3 to 4 will be to the kitchen. 5 to 6, it'll be outside. Okay? Goes upstairs. So, Chelsea, Fawn, you hear. Fawn, you're like in the hallway at the top of the stairs. You see that Chelsea is like picked up this. You guys guessed it already. The scribe, and she's like setting it up on top of the window still, and is trying to fumble the windows open, and because the curtains are covering it. You see the door off to the right, and this thing as it's moving up the stairs right next to you. And it is your turn, Fawn. It's right next to you, and it's pulling back one of its arms, getting ready to lunge it forward and impale you. What would you like to do?
It was a suggestion in chat, so I'm curious, I wanted to look at it for some sort of like winding key, as I'm continuing to back up and...
Okay. I'm just going to say that like there have now been, I think, 2 to 3 rolls now to sort of examine it. I think you guys have gotten all the information you're going to get from that. And so I don't want to keep taxing your actions with that anymore, because there's nothing more you're going to get from that. So this isn't me being a dick. This is actually me not wasting your actions on this. Yeah. There's nothing that you cannot figure out how this thing is working. Like whether you've succeeded at it or whether you failed at the roll, both times, no one knows how this thing is working. This is an impossible machine that should not be functioning.
Yeah, this is unnatural.
So I don't want you to waste your action on it. I want you to try to do something else.
Can I try to go into the room where Chelsea is at and close the door?
Absolutely.
The door between us.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. You dive into the room. You slam the door shut. Do you run over to her, or do you stay and hold the door? Like kind of brace the door. Is there a preference?
I do not want to get impaled through the door. I would like to look for something to brace the door with other than myself.
Okay, roll a luck test. We'll see if there's anything immediately next to the door that you can get on this turn, which there is. And so you do that. You see like there's like a like a kind of a chair, and you do the classic, like put it underneath the handle.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have died in a different campaign doing that.
Yep. Album, you no longer hear it down on the first floor. You feel like it's gone upstairs, and you think it's not following you.
Okay. I'm gonna go into the kitchen.
Okay. You step into the kitchen. Hang on. Let me pull up. Let's see what you see. Definitely it's very clear that no one has used this kitchen for kitchen purposes in a while, right? You can see that there's paint pans and cans sitting on the counter. There's nuts and bolts that are soaking in gasoline. You can see that the fridge is warm, so it's certainly not on in any way. There's dishes that are piled up in the corner. Some of them are smashed. There's a bunch of like there's like, you can see a drawer is partially extended, and there's like some silverware in there. It's a freaking mess in here. And there is a door. Yeah, there is a door. You can leave to the backyard. Let me double check that and make sure I'm not lying to you. Yes, there is a back door here. What would you like to do? So you move a few steps.
I guess I want to search the kitchen to see if there's anything like atypical. Like,
yeah. All right, roll a search test. Okay.
Success.
Sure. You're like, as quickly as you can, you're like, okay, quick. You pull open a drawer, and like, you're not doing like a full immense clear, because this is all happening very fast.
Right.
But you do hear, as you're kind of moving through and you're pulling open some drawers, you hear a bzzz, bzzz,
Something vibrating,
as if it's a cell phone vibrating. You quickly pull open a drawer, and you can see that there is this old kind of flip phone, like a cheap prepaid phone. It's got some scratching symbol on top of it, and immediately as you reach to grab it, the vibrating stops. But you can see that there's some sort of symbol. You don't know exactly what it means, but damn it if that doesn't look like one of those things that Agent Chelsea has referred to before, like these weird seals and symbols.
I have a Colt 50. Would I recognize it by any chance?
Here, let me give you a picture of it. I think you actually would at 50. Let me get the picture of it.
It's all the aliens I talked to on my satellite dish. Gave me some occult skills.
All right, so let's show it to everybody. So yeah, that's the phone itself. And then let me get the page up so I can tell you what's actually in it. Sorry, there's like a lot of different things. I have my combat notes one place, and then I have like we're searching notes, and now I have to have them both up at the same time.
That legitimately looks like one of the cell phones I had when I first got
I know, me too.
Yes,
I think we
it
have
does.
that same phone. It wasn't as blue, it was like silver, but yeah. I had
Yeah,
that same
mine was
phone.
silver.
All right, so this is on. All right, now I have to just switch pages. Sorry about this.
No worries.
Is that the symbol from the very, very beginning, guys?
You would recognize this with a 50% is enough. It is the mark of Sitri.
Oh.
Sitri. Great Prince of Hell, reigns over 60 legions of demons, causes men to love women and vice versa, and can make people bare themselves naked if desired. It's depicted with the face of a leopard and the wings of a griffin, but under the conjurer's request can change into a very beautiful person. But you grab it. This is all happening fast, so you just notice it. You're like, "Oh shit, demon!" And you look at it, and I'll give you like you recognize the demon, but like this is all happening fast, and that's your turn. You're still in the kitchen though. You pick that up because you searched. I'm going to move forward, and it's going to be Vessel. You're out. You're out in the van still. No one has come out of the house. Hey, Karian, you have come back at a very perfect time. They're about to all die. Like they are fighting sort of a crazy machine monster.
Running away from.
Vessel is hiding in a Dodge Caravan out in the street. The most combat proficient character is hiding in a Dodge Caravan out in the street while the other three are still inside the house. Vessel, what are you doing?
Can I do like a rough patch up in the van?
A rough patch up? You actually didn't take any damage because you dodged, remember?
No, I got rammed once.
Oh, you did get rammed. Yeah. So you're trying.
You took 8 damage, I think, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I hit you the second time, didn't I?
Yeah.
So many bits.
So
What
I
could we
don't
do with those?
think you can. Can you
Kill the robot.
kill the robot?
I would like to kill the robot for 1,000 bits.
Thank you. It's very kind. You're way too generous. We're awful players and people. We don't deserve your bits.
or maybe forge some sort of makeshift armor before I go in.
I'll say let's do that because I don't think healing quite works like that. So we'll say that you probably have some kind of like maybe you have Kevlar from your bunker, like the little storage room you have, and you just didn't necessarily put it on because that would look kind of weird walking out into the street in broad daylight. And so maybe it's still back here, and you put the Kevlar on, and you just got on.
Nice.
Okay. All right, so that's your turn. Chelsea, you're by the window. You got this thing in your hand. You've rested it. You see Fawn just kind of jammed a chair underneath the door, but you hear this thing. It's upstairs with you. What would you like to do?
I just can I throw this out the window?
You absolutely can. It is a second-story window, so you're not sure what kind of harm it might cause.
Break it.
I'm kind of fine. If it's the scribe, this can be broken, but I just don't want Marvis to have it.
Sure. You push it out the window.
Into
Right.
a bush, maybe?
Roll
Find out.
a luck test, and we'll see if it falls into a bush.
We have bits to use.
Do you want to use them on this?
No.
I mean, I'll say
Some of them.
a 1,000 bits. Each one of you will get one reroll for the rest of this scene. Okay, and then I'll say one, like we'll say like 2 fortunate coincidences. It's not going to be this thing falls and dies, but I'll say 2 fortunate coincidences is in your favor that you can, if you guys can come up with something that makes sense within the fiction, I'm cool with it. And so that's what we'll say. So that's a reroll for everybody and 2 like fortunate things. If you want to burn that here, so like you push it out the window and it doesn't like break or anything like that, it lands softly. I'm fine with that, Chelsea. If you want to use up one of those fortunate coincidences. I like old Wormslayer. If the combat character decides to get the fuck out, that's kind of a sign. It's very true.
No, I will use that for making sure this like lands in like a bush or something, so
Okay.
it doesn't totally.
So we have one coincidence, like one fortunate coincidence for you guys, and then we still got one reroll for everybody.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you just push that out. I'll let you do like some other minor thing if you want to do something else. Minor.
Can I don't know if this. So, question about that door that was in the closet.
Yeah.
Is
It's very
there
small.
bars like? Oh, so I can't even fit in.
Oh no chance.
Okay.
It was like 1 foot by like 1.5 foot.
Oh, okay.
It was a tiny little gnome door. People were calling it a gnome door in chat. It's pretty accurate. Yeah. Maybe even smaller than a gnome door actually. Now that I think about it.
Okay.
But there were bars a couple feet into the tunnel when you shined your light, and then you saw way down at the end of that tunnel there were like there's wooden floor and books and stuff, maybe about 10-15 feet into the tunnel.
Okay. Is
That's true.
there's no. This was an office, so there's no sheets or anything. But if there's like curtains, could I
Curtains,
maybe like
yes.
knot like a couple of them together to try and like.
I see what you're saying. You'd like to
Like,
make it
yeah,
easier
like-
for you to fall down and like to
Yeah,
climb
like tie
down.
one half onto the pole so the pole's hanging against the window frame, and then have
Okay.
the curtains hang down.
You push the thing out of the window, falls down, and then you kind of pull the curtain down, and you begin to tie it safely.
Yeah,
You're not going to completely do this, but we'll say you get halfway there. The lion's turn. It's upstairs, so it's already picked its targets. Fawn, you just jam this chair underneath it. You take a couple steps back, and you hear, and like the freaking Kool-Aid man, it explodes through the door and through the wall, taking a huge chunk of plaster. You see it just rips through what looks like one of the studs, and it's going to try to ram Fawn in the process.
All right.
Don't forget that there's dodge if that's of interest to you. That's a success.
Can I dodge in the direction of the window when I'm dodging?
We're keeping it fast and loose. It's a small room. Just say you're not jumping out of the window, but you can dodge. Yeah, go ahead and try to. If you succeed, you still have to roll, and you have to beat it.
Oh, critical success.
Damn it! For those of you who play Delta Green, 40 is higher than 1, even though 1's a critical success. So how do I read this?
Oh.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No.
Come on, Long. You're the one who was reading the combat stuff, not me.
Well, yeah, it doesn't go into that.
It doesn't go into that detail.
It just says a roll to dodge opposes all hand-to-hand
Right.
attacks to the turn. I'm looking at the
Yeah.
handbook.
I'm just going to go look up criticals really quick. This is important because it's
My life is on the line.
could be. Yeah, we should definitely look this up. So I want to double check this. All right, so a critical success is a roll of 1. Any success with their semester VH skill is 50, blah, 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 blah. Critical success automatically succeeds and exceeds expectations. It's twice as good as an ordinary success. In combat, a critical success means double damage. So yeah, I'm going to say, yeah, you dodge out of the way. Not only do you dodge out of the way, do you want to leap out the window? Because it's an extreme or extravagant success, right?
Sure. If the
I'm gonna say if you want, I'll give you the choice. You can dodge and stay in the room and not take any damage, or you can jump out the window and take like a D4 -1 damage because you're just leaping out of the window without waiting for the curtain or anything like that. Your choice.
I'm just gonna go because I want Chelsea to be able to go quickly. So.
All right, so you're just gonna leap out the window. All right, so
Sure.
we'll do roll 1d4 -1.
Me and my 14.
You don't take any damage as you fall and you land safely. You do like a tumble. Maybe you land in the same gigantic hedgerow that the frickin' scribe is now sitting in. Okay, that was your turn as well because that's your dodge. Album. You're in the kitchen still. You have a phone. You still hear craziness going on upstairs.
Does he see me jump? Does he see
No,
me do, like, a slider?
because you're on like the western side of the house and he's on like the northeastern side of the house now.
Okay.
Since nothing in this house, so is the stove electric or gas?
Oh, great question. You do know though that there were all those bills that said past due, past due, past due. There's no power or anything like that. So it's a good question, but I think where you're going with it, gas is turned off, electricity is turned off. There's nothing feeding power to this thing.
Okay, but the whole house smelled like gasoline, right?
Whole house did smell like gasoline.
Are there matches in the kitchen?
Sure. How about this? If you want to burn that other coincidence, we can say that maybe the gas wasn't turned off. We have another coincidence. We have one more positive, fortunate coincidence if you want.
Love in this house too.
Well, one of the clues said, what was it, Medford H. burn or something like that?
Yeah, it was something about burning.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So, but if the whole house smells like gasoline, I imagine that like all I gotta do is just start a small fire and it'll just catch.
Mhm.
So I think that's what Album will do. Is
Okay.
because especially you said there's some bolts.
There's bolts
soaking in
and
gasoline.
soaking gasoline. Yeah.
Yeah. So then Album's just gonna start a small fire in a
Okay.
place that he thinks it'll spread quickly throughout the house, and he's like, all right, if we can't kill this thing, then it'll just die with the house.
Do you want to like just splash, like empty those cans of gasoline and just throw it on the ground, and then throw the match down, or is there a different way you're thinking?
Well, since no, Album wants to make it look as like accidental or like freak cause as possible, not like deliberate or criminal, because of how the last time went. So if anything, like I mean, if anything, he would just like make it look like something fell over and spilled the gas out of a little tray or whatnot, and then just like light some matches and throw them around.
Okay.
To get that going.
All right, we'll say you just kind of like make it look like one of them just happened to fall off, and then you just throw the match down, and the fire starts to spread. Okay.
Yeah.
Vessel, you've got your Kevlar on. You're ready to. No one has come out still.
All right, I'm going back.
And from where you guys parked, you actually don't see the western window. It's actually the eastern window that you have a better view of. So you go and you run back in. So you start running in. You burst through the door, which is kind of already kind of slightly off its hook, and you look around. You see scrapes on the stairs. Your alertness so high that I think you can hear it upstairs, and so you think it's upstairs. And so you're inside the house yet, but you can't go upstairs. That's your turn. Chelsea, you just saw this thing burst through the wall, burst through the door. You saw Fawn miraculously, in an immense amount of acrobatics that a 57-year-old you wouldn't expect from, and is outside.
Leapt over me.
Leapt
out
over
the
you.
window.
It's like, see you. This is the second time this has happened. You went downstairs to try to help Vessel, and he just pushes you in front of the thing and runs
Nobody
away.
wants my help.
Now Fawn just dies out of your way. Okay, so what do you want to do, Chelsea?
It's relatable. I want to get off this window.
Okay. So you want to climb down?
I want it to be quickly, so if I fall, I fall.
Okay, let's make it a test then. So we'll do kind of the same deal. Just roll. You can roll like physical, like a strength or a dex ×5, whichever you prefer. I don't care.
It's the same roll.
They're the same,
I'll
so
just
yeah.
do strength.
Yeah, it's basically a 50/50
bad.
chance. Okay, yeah. You manage to tie it off really quickly and just sort of leap and like swing back. You slam a little bit against the wall, and then you let yourself down the next few feet. It goes next. Fawn, Chelsea, you're both on the ground. Fawn, I'm going to say you jumped out the window, so even though you didn't take any damage, you're probably laying prone. Chelsea, you're standing up. This thing bursts through the window above that you both just jumped out. Glass from the windows that, because it's bigger than the small open part that you and Chelsea jumped out of. It bursts through. You see plaster and siding erupt as this thing just leaps out of the window and lands between the two of you.
This thing cares not for subtlety.
Fawn, it is now your turn. You're laying on the ground right next to this metallic creature. What would you like to do?
I want to look for the back door to go back inside because I don't want this thing running around the neighborhood.
Okay. So you want to run. So you're going to get up and you're going to move.
Yeah.
Okay. So you scramble up and you try to get around to the back door. So you go
Yes,
around the back.
because we know there's a back door because we saw Exeter dumping parts out the back.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So you go around. You know it's on like the northeast side. And you guys are on the western side because you just jumped out the western window. So you start to move yourself around it. Okay. Album. Fire has begun to spread. It's going to take a little while, but with all the gasoline and fumes, it ain't going to take that long. What would you like to do now? You just heard an eruption from the western side of the house. Something.
There's a door out of the house in the kitchen, right?
Yeah, it goes directly north out of the house, and you know it leads towards the old woman's house with the garage that you all could have murdered but chose not to.
Album is just gonna get out of the house and make his way toward the caravan.
Say that again?
Album's gonna get out of the house and make his way toward the caravan, like the Dodge Caravan.
Yeah. So you go out and then you go around do you want to go around the eastern side, like away from the loud noises, or do you want to run towards the noises? The caravan's on the south side of the house because the front of the house is the south, north house is the back, and you're going out the back. Right. So you have to either run around the east side, which is the quicker corner. It's like immediately to the right of you, or
he would take the quicker.
Okay, so you go. Okay, done. Vessel, you're back inside the house. You just heard an eruption. Your alertness is high enough that you can now hear out the western windows. So the curtains are drawn, but there is a window to the like right as you're standing at the base of the stairs off to the west. You can see there's a window there, and I'll say that it's open just enough that you can see like a tiny little like glint of metal reflecting as if something's right outside that window. What do you want to do?
Do I also know a fire started?
You can't see the kitchen from where you're at, and it does already smell like gasoline in here. I'll say this: roll alertness to see if you can smell smoke. I know your alertness is really high, so it should be easy.
I don't.
But you suck at it, so you don't know that there's a fire. You don't know there's a fire. No.
He's got eyes of a hawk, but his nose is blocked. Poor guy.
That's fine. I'll try and run outside if that's going back the way I came in.
All right, so you go out the back or you go out the
I want to meet
front?
up with it as fast as I can. So if
You want to run out the
front.
fastest way is through the window.
that makes sense.
Okay.
I'm just gonna charge through the window.
So you just leap and burst out the window. It's not as impressive as this thing. As you explode out the window, Chelsea, you see another window explode on the western side of the house, and you're like, oh shit, not another one. And there's Vessel leaping out. Vessel, I'm gonna say you're gonna take a point of damage as you cut yourself through the glass and stuff. Just a point, nothing bad, like a little cut on your arm as you leap out, blood spurting. And you're now
You need to run, Lon.
face
You've
to
got, like,
face
2 health
with
left.
this thing as it's Chelsea's turn. Oh god.
Fuck. Can I like start taking off towards the back of the house, but as I do so, like throw something at the machine to try and get its attention on me instead of Vessel?
Okay.
So like I can't remember off the top of my head, but whatever name for the demon that's known as the lion, I'm gonna yell out, hey, fuckface, your name, and then start taking off towards the back of the house.
I could see one or two things can happen here. I can let you do this knowing full well it's going to be entirely ineffective, or I can tell you that you don't see a head on this thing, you don't see ears, you don't see any sort of speakers to suggest that it can hear you or understand you.
Yeah.
And it's always attacked whatever was in its range, whatever was next to it. And it only started running after people when like you guys spread. Otherwise, it's attacking whoever's close. So I would think Chelsea's probably smart enough to know that you don't think that's gonna work.
Okay, so then I'll just move close to Vessel
Okay. So you move
'Cause
close
I
to Vessel.
because I don't want him to be by himself.
You can do an action. You can do something. Like you're in the area. If there's something
Is there
you want
like
to
a
do,
branch or anything that's like on the ground?
I don't think there's trees. I think it's just hedges.
Just hedges? Okay. Or like a big ass rock.
I'm sure there's rocks in the ground. Yeah.
I want to see if I can just like.
Remember when I asked you guys about weapons and stuff?
Yep.
This is why I asked you about weapons and stuff.
Yep. I mean, I have a knife, but I don't know what good that would do me.
Okay.
I guess I have my mag light, maybe still after I've gone out the window. Maybe I can just try and also jam that into the thing.
Okay. Roll a melee attack.
Melee. Fail.
You smash the mag light, and it's just like you see the mag light, the little plastic bits, not all of it. Some of it's metal, some of it's like rubber, some of it's just erupt. Like it's like hard, like it did nothing to this thing. Which means it's its turn. There's 2 of you. 50-50, 1 to 3, it'll be Chelsea. It is Chelsea. As it turns one of its arms, and it just shoots it out in your direction, trying to impale you on it. And it's a fail. It misses. As you are kind of moving in just enough, there's a little bit of chaos here that's happening, and you managed to not get hit by it. Fawn, it is your turn. You ran away like a coward. What would you like to do?
Trying to draw it towards me so that it would go back inside the house.
What's that? Yeah, but 2 other people are next to it, so
Yeah.
you've not seen it run away from people when there's others that are right next to it.
Yeah. Can I look for garden hose? Try to just spray it with a garden hose. I'm just trying.
You're around the back. You said you ran around the back of the house. You're not next to it. So are you trying to run back to it, or do you want to keep running?
I'll go back to
Okay.
where everybody else is.
Okay, so you're going back to where the machine is.
Yes, and looking for a garden hose as I do that.
Okay, sure. There's a garden hose, but again, you know that
Oh yeah, they haven't been paying any
It's
bills.
past
There's no
due.
water.
Past due. Everything's past due.
Yeah. I'm so concerned because I don't want this thing just out in the world. Like that's one of our primary things is we're not supposed to let
That is
people out
100%
into the
true.
world. So
This thing is out there, and
I mean, I think basically all I do with my turn is just I go back to where they are. I think that's probably about all I can do.
okay. So you're running towards them.
Yeah.
Okay, you run back around the house into the fray with them again. Okay, Album, it is now your turn. You're running around the eastern side of the house. You can see there's the Dodge Caravan. Look at it right there. It's beautiful.
Album's going to attempt to get into the vehicle.
Oh yeah, you can get inside. That's fine. I'll say the same thing. Roll a luck test to see if you're the one who has the keys. Because if it was Chelsea or Fawn, I would have said they had them. But okay, you do not have the keys. You know that Chelsea or Fawn has to have them. One of them was driving.
Can I hotwire it?
Sure. Gonna take more than an action, but go ahead and roll it now, and we'll say like this will take this turn and then your next turn, and if you're successful.
What would this fall under?
I'm fine with you just rolling your electronics thing that you have.
Okay.
Your craft. That's fine.
Yeah. I do not make it. Although I do get one reroll, right?
Yes, if you would like to use it.
Yeah, I'll use it. I still do not make it.
Okay. So it's going to take time. Like you can do this. You know you can do this. It's just more along the line of how long it's going to take. Vessel, you're face to face with this thing. This thing that rammed you.
How big was this again?
Bigger than you. As tall as you, but bigger. Wider. Because it's all like little metal pieces. Like, so like you can kind of see through it. And like there's Fawn running back around. And she's like looking around. Like, where's a garden hose? Where's a garden hose? And you see Chelsea is like trying to hit it with a flashlight. But what would you like to do with the giant metal monster that has nearly killed you already?
Has anyone seen Album?
You have not. So you shout out, "Where's Album? Where's Album?" And Chelsea and Fawn, you can respond.
He ran. It followed us, so I don't know.
All right, then I suggest we get out of here.
Easier said than done. This is out in the fucking world right now, Vessel.
As I pull out my pistol,
Okay.
if this will do anything.
Roll ranged attack on it.
It's gonna be so loud.
Gunshots in the middle of suburban.
Oh my god.
I'd like to re-roll.
Okay. Because otherwise I was going to say you just shot one of the two of them.
Oh dear God.
Go ahead and roll it.
I fail.
You fire away at it and like center mass, but this thing doesn't have mass. It's just freaking little bullets, and bullets just flying through the damn thing. Oh my goodness. Chelsea, it's your turn.
Can I pick up the scribe and like throw it on it?
Yeah, roll
Like-
a melee attack. Just pick it up and just try to smash it. Go ahead.
Fuck.
You pick it up. You try to throw it at it, but like it's just so unwieldy and awkward that it just sort of limply lands at the ground, cascading off its leg. Its turn's gonna come around now. There's 3 of you. 1 to 2, Chelsea. 3 to 4, Vessel. 5 to 6, Fawn.
This is a new round.
Fawn, it's going after you. As you come around,
Mm-hmm.
spinning around Reyes, it's like, and it looks at you and it just lunges itself towards you as it tries to ram you. That's going to be a success.
Oh shit.
All right, it's going through.
I'll dodge.
You can certainly try.
I kind of want to get in.
That's amazing.
What are the chances?
Very low, but that's
Wow.
amazing.
Here's what I'm going to say. It lunges at you, and you manage to like tumble underneath it as it just leaps and smashes through the wall back into the house.
I'm the most agile 57-year-old ever.
You've done so
That
much
adrenaline
yoga.
rush. Yeah, that adrenaline rush hits hard.
But it's back in the house now.
Album, it is your turn. You're in the caravan. Go ahead and roll it again. See if you can get your hot wire on.
I do.
Yep. So as you can hear the engine start kicking in. Vessel, you just saw Fawn like dodge out of the way. This thing leaps, like just leapt at her and burst through the wall. What do you want to do?
This scribe thing they threw out, is this thing huge as well?
It's about the size of a water cooler.
It looks like she went, or you guys are carrying this, so I guess I'll help it to the van.
Okay, so you're going to pick it up
Okay. Yeah.
and you're going to run to the van.
Yeah.
Okay, Chelsea, what do you want to do?
What's the status of a fire in the house? That's an
spreading.
Ashley question.
It's spreading.
Okay. Did Album actually turn on the gas stove?
I didn't use that.
You don't know
Nice.
anything about this at all. You don't even know there's a
Yeah.
fire.
Oh, fuck.
Chelsea, you don't even know there's a fire. Vessel doesn't know there's a fire. Fawn, you also don't know none of you know that there's a fire inside the house brewing. Only Album, who's stealing your ride right now. See you, bitches.
He's done it before.
Little do you
He's
know that
taken the car
Album is
before.
Album is Latin for demon or something.
Yeah, that's so Album. This were a freaking sitcom from the 80s. Chelsea, what do you want to do? You just saw Vessel run with the scribe towards the front of the house.
I guess I would follow.
Okay. It leaves the lion, who's next. It just burst back into the house. Will now burst back out of the house and is
How is this
standing
house still standing?
right next to Fawn. But it can't take an attack because it had to move. I'm going to say, like, that's what I was giving you for your critical success. It's got to move to you first.
Okay.
Fawn, it's your turn.
Everybody else is running. I'm gonna run.
Okay, you run. All right. Album, you're in the car. You got it ready to go. Is there anything in particular you wanted to do? You're starting to see people running at you now. Vessel's coming. You see Chelsea, and you finally see Fawn now, who's like trailing the rest of them, but is coming as well.
Since the van was originally parked across the street, he's just gonna flip a fast U-turn and then slam the like sliding door open so they can all just jump in as quickly as they can.
Okay. All right, so that was Album. Vessel, it's your turn.
I'll keep running to this van.
All right, you run in, you get in. Chelsea, do you get in the van?
Fawn's not here.
You see her running. She's trailing a
Oh,
little bit
she's
behind you,
running
but
at
you
us?
can see her. Yeah, yeah.
But do I also see the thing running behind her?
Not at the moment. It's still on the side of the house. The rest of you are out in front of the house now.
Fuck.
It's so sideways.
Yep.
I don't know what to do.
Does somebody have the
Get in
scribe?
the bag.
Album,
Yeah.
or no, Vessel had it.
Vessel has it.
And he's inside already.
Yeah, I'll get in the car.
Okay. Next up is the lion,
No.
who runs around the side of the house and is now in broad daylight in front of Agent Exeter's house, right next to Fawn, right next to the van. Fawn, what do you do?
Running to the van.
You dive into the van. Album, I'm assuming you're going to start driving away.
Yeah, after everybody's in, I was just gonna slam on the accelerator and say I may have started a fire.
It's
So-
not inside.
Vessel and Chelsea, I assume you guys are in. You're not doing anything in particular. You're in the van.
Correct.
Okay.
You know, just gasping for air and.
Well, it's not your turn, Fawn. I meant Chelsea and Vessel, because they're next up in the initiative.
I am waiting.
Okay.
That There's a lot of people outside.
Oh, there's people doing their lawn. There's people walking their dogs, and people are on their phones, and they're calling the cops because there's crazy shit happening at this house on a Saturday morning in Boston. And as you guys are speeding away in your Dodge Caravan, you look behind you, and you can see on the road, while behind it, smoke and flames begin to erupt from Exeter's house. You see the metallic lion chasing after you, and it's gaining on you. And that's where we're gonna stop for tonight. It is very much gaining on you. Absolutely.
Dodge Caravan's got a V6. This bitch got more than a V6 in it. What is this thing made of?
Metal and gears.
Oh my gosh. And powered by
unnatural
supernatural shit.
effect. So there we go. That's it for tonight. We are way over our time, but man, it was hard to stop. Sorry.
Oh my gosh. Nothing went right. Absolutely.
What are you
nothing
talking
went
about? That was
right.
fantastic.
We learned nothing in the house because it's burning up right now.
Melissa,
And,
write in your notes that we have 2 rerolls left and 1 fortunate coincidence left to use, thanks to Captain Cryan. So we didn't use. That's what's left over from his generous bit donation. All right, so that's it for tonight for us, folks. We'll be back tomorrow playing some Worlds Without Number, 6 Central. A couple of us will anyway. Then you can catch Melissa and I on Monday back on our channel where we're starting up chapter 3 of our Alien campaign that we're all very psyched about. If you've never watched any of our Alien stuff before, perfect time to start watching it. It's a new crew, new story.
I'm in charge.
Melissa's in charge. All of it kind of happens in the same universe. So if you've not watched chapter 1 or 2, no problem. You can pick up and start with chapter 3. And if you like it enough, maybe you go back and you watch chapters 1 and 2. We're going to actually, what really sucks is this isn't just a cliffhanger for 1 week. It's actually a cliffhanger for 2 weeks because we're off next Friday as Melissa and I, we got plans. So we're gone. So see ya. So 2 weeks and we'll find out what the hell happens, which is
I'm
great.
gonna be so stressed this whole time.
Cool. Because so am I.
Let's just use that fortunate situation right now. A semi truck runs a red light, hits the line, it's dead.
That's beautiful. All right, so let's go ahead and let's see who we can go ahead and throw a raid to. Thank you for everyone who hung out tonight. Thank you for the new folks. Thank you for the bits. Very, very generous of you all. Probably kept them alive more than you realize. Things could go so bad still, but that definitely was a help. And yeah, we'll catch you next time. So come by tomorrow. Come by on Monday. And let's see. Who is up now? Are the defenders up? Why can I never see them? Is Chuck still running some stuff? Are they still up?
No, it doesn't look like it for me.
I don't see
Dorktails
them.
is still up, and so is Prater.
Oh, Kalidokali. Yeah, I don't see them anymore. All right, so yeah, let's go ahead and we're gonna do a quick raid. So hang tight, and you're gonna get some other cool stuff, and we'll catch you next time. So bye bye, everybody.